Okay,
Ready?
yes, sir.
All right. The meeting will come to order. For public information, a copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is posted in the back of this meeting room on the east wall if anyone needs to see that. Clerk will call the roll.
Harris,
Here.
Raisig,
Here.
Meyer,
Here.
Blue,
Here.
Parsley.
Here.
Okay. If everyone would stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I always like to welcome everyone, and we appreciate you being here this evening, especially all those that are new and visitors. I want to remind everyone that this meeting is being recorded. It's being recorded to be broadcast at a later date. And with that, we ask that whoever wants to speak needs to be sure and come forward in front of the microphone. We need to be able to record any of your comments so that they can be clearly heard on the recording for the rebroadcast later. When you come to the microphone, we ask that you give us your name for the record and spell your name so the clerk can get it in her minutes correctly. Remember, there's no swearing or any other inappropriate language. We all need to check our cell phones. Hopefully you have them either turned off or on vibrate in an effort to minimize interruptions. I want to remind commissioners as well that we need to have our microphones up close, speak clearly and loud enough into your microphone so that number one, it's heard for the rebroadcast, but also for those people in the back so they can hear what we're saying. This is a fairly lengthy agenda for tonight. I suspect somewhere when I consider it to be about midway through the meeting, we'll take about an 8-minute break. All right, I think that's my announcements for this evening. The next item is approval of the agenda and consider modifications, and I want to mention to you that I've had a request that we move up the items that our mapping director has, Amanda. Her items are on the back page. They're the information regarding the village of Henry, and also approval of a chairman's signature on an interlocal for the city of Scotts Bluff and city of Gearing pictometry. She has another meeting she needs to go to, and we're trying to move her up on the agenda to accommodate that.
Okay.
So I'm proposing that we move it to under general agenda items, the first two items under that.
I have one other one I just saw where we have the, consider the prayer. Could we move that up also so that some of these folks don't have to sit through all of this?
No, let's leave right where it's
leave
at.
right where it's at.
Right where it's at.
And why would that be?
Why would we wanna move it? Everybody else has to stay.
I see. So we don't wanna take consideration somebody who's here for just that.
We normally don't do that.
We've done it before. We've done it before a lot, but that's
I
fine.
move that we approve the consent agenda with the flexibility of the chair.
Okay. And this
I-
isn't the consent agenda, but the primary agenda
Primary agenda.
Modification of it, yeah.
and the modifications, so,
I'll second that.
okay. All right, so we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda with the modifications approved by the chair. Okay, and we're gonna vote electronically this time, right?
Yes.
All right, so we'll go ahead and vote.
Try again, Matt.
Yours didn't
yours
take
didn't
up
go
there,
through, Matt,
if you
for
can
some
vote
reason.
again.
Kinda touchy.
You have 5 yeses.
All right, motion's carried. Okay. Want to remind everyone, the board reserves the right to enter into a closed session if deemed necessary. We do not have any of those that are intentionally planned tonight, but we always reserve the right to go into executive session if we feel it's appropriate, and meets the law. All right, so the next item is the consent agenda, and the consent agenda is, made for, action for all of these items to be approved with one item unless someone considers or wants to consider one separately.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, and I need to abstain from one item. Warrant number, Kelly, do you want this warrant number, please?
Please?
Number is 025122227.
10251.
2227. 3 2s.
I think I have it.
Okay.
And if you would give me just a sec.
What's the
Yeah.
reason for you abstaining?
I sold some culverts to the Road and Bridge Department.
Okay. I would move that we would allow Commissioner Reisig to abstain from voting on that item.
I'll second that.
Well,
That one item, just one item.
hey,
Yeah, how you want to handle it. She's trying to add it into
We
her
could
electronic
do a
voting.
voice on it, I think, Kelly. Or however you wanna do it.
okay, so we're voting on the consent agenda as a whole, and I would take the motion and the second again, please.
My
Who-
motion would be to allow
You did,
Commissioner Reisig to,
and second.
I seconded.
Thank you. So I have that, you're with that one claim pulled, and then I have that set up for a separate vote, okay? Just so we're
Okay.
clear, you're voting on the whole consent agenda
First.
minus that one
minus
claim.
that one.
All right, so
Okay.
we're voting on the entire consent agenda except for the one claim right now. Any other discussion?
Okay,
I would like her to read that. Would you read that number back to me, be sure that we're on the same page, please?
2512227 is the one we've pulled.
Okay.
So you are voting on this minus that one.
That's right.
And-
Okay.
And that vote was just to exclude Russ, then we need another motion to approve the
The other warrant, okay.
the agenda, or the consent agenda.
That is not how I got ready.
No, it's just the opposite.
So you're just
We're doing
including,
the
you're,
consent
you're
agenda
including that
first.
with that? Okay.
I'm abstaining from one item on my vote.
I've pulled one claim out of the whole consent agenda for a separate vote.
Okay.
That's what he just said. That's just what Ken said.
But my motion was to allow Russ to do that. That's what we're voting on, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. But that's
Yeah,
the proper-
so let me
that's the proper way to
suggest,
do it.
Okay.
the next time we have this issue, try and prep Callie so we can have it
Well, I
done
thought-
in an order that she's at least prepared for.
I thought Steve did, and I got a letter that, or a text that said, shoot, I forgot the warrant, so.
Okay.
He forgot to tell her, so.
All right, so how are
He
you set
told
up to
me.
do it? You
He
told
did.
me,
Steve did tell me, and I forgot on this part.
okay, so how are you set up to do this first, what is the first motion, the way you say you were doing it? Everything but the special claim, or the,
That's what I did, but that is not what Ken said he made his motion to be.
Well, we haven't finished our first motion.
I
yet.
know, he wanted to vote to let you abstain.
That's the way you're supposed to do it. I'm sorry. But
Don't be sorry.
if you don't wanna do it
Well,
that
we
way,
wanna do it correctly.
if you don't wanna do it, that's your business, but I'm
However-
just saying,
whatever's
there should
correct-
be
what's
three,
correct
there
is-
should be three motions here.
There's absolutely no way I'm set up for 3.
Well, what I'm
It-
trying
so-
to say is that there should be three motions. One, to allow Russ to abstain. Second is to approve the consent agenda. And third would be to approve the claim
That
that
one claim?
he was pulled.
Okay,
Correct me if I'm wrong, but and I've been wrong before.
Let me see if
87.
I can get back out of this. Can't.
Read the rule, but you know what, never mind. Let it go. Do it however you wanna do
I
it.
believe you're right.
Do it however you wanna do it. I don't care.
Do it correctly, Kelly.
I would agree with the fact that we ought to have a motion to pull that claim,
Okay.
okay? And then,
Should we,
We
can we
can-
all retract our motions, then we'll start over and just retract the claim first?
Hang on.
we're gonna see where we're at here.
Okay.
There's already been at least one motion and a second, and then possibly a second motion, which technically is out of order.
I can't figure out how to get back out of this.
Okay. Can you record it just manually for now and,
Yes, please.
okay,
So Ken made a motion.
Just a minute, we have a motion ahead of that one.
Motion.
No, the motion is to allow you to not vote on this, to abstain.
Well, I made a motion to accept the consent agenda with
We didn't vote on the one to allow you to abstain, but if
Okay,
you
I'm
don't think we
ready.
have to do it.
well, no,
Let me-
I'm just saying, I
hang
didn't know
on,
if we
let
have to
me,
kill that
let me make
motion.
a decision here.
Okay,
What was the first motion?
Ken made a motion to allow Russ to
that was the second
abstain
motion.
from the claim.
Okay,
He requested that he be able to abstain from that, and so Ken made the motion to allow it.
okay,
But my first motion was to accept the consent agenda with that one item removed.
Exception of the-
And I got a second, but we never
Read
voted.
Robert's
We never
rules.
voted on that one.
Sorry.
right.
Is that not right?
So, I think what we need to do is consider the first motion. The other motion would be out of order, because we haven't dealt with the first motion yet.
But when I asked for who made the motion and who made the second, I had Meyer and Blue
I made
tell
the
me
first.
they did. So.
That was the second motion.
well,
The
we
first
had-
motion was a motion from Mr. Reisig,
Okay, who was his second to
That-
approve the consent agenda?
right, with that one item pulled.
Yes.
Matt, did you second that?
I'll second it.
Okay, we will say that Matt did. All right, so we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda, but with the exception of the one claim.
Okay,
That's where we're at right now.
So
That's
we're
where
not
I'm
going to
ready.
vote to allow Russ to, okay. Okay,
And then we'll vote on,
Then we can vote on that item.
we're just,
so that's basically what you said,
We're
Ken,
pulling
was
the
to
one
pull that
claim.
one
We're
item.
we're just doing it
pull-
backwards, but that's okay.
Right, that's,
Do it however way you'd like. That's,
so that's what we're doing. All right,
it's open. for
any
you
other
guys.
discussion? What's that?
It's open for you guys to vote.
Yeah. All right, so we'll go ahead and vote. And you want us to vote electronically on this one?
Yeah,
Okay,
cause I can't figure out how to get out of it anyway, so.
It's not taking it.
yeah, it's not taking it.
let's just do it, boys, please. We keep moving.
We can do a voice, but I can't get out of this vote.
Okay.
So,
Wait,
Hey, cool, you're out.
consent agenda. I'm going to ask for your direction one more time. Could we spend 20 minutes on this, please? What are we
Yeah.
going to vote on now?
what,
I've got out of that one, we don't have to do it.
well,
We
the
retract.
motion was to approve the consent agenda with the exception of the one claim.
Okay,
That's what the motion was, that's what the second is, and that's what we're discussing, and that's what we're gonna vote on.
okay, I am ready for the consent agenda vote.
Okay,
All right, electronically.
You have 5 yeses.
All right, now we have the one single claim item. And we can, well, I'll do it. So I'll move that we, excuse Commissioner Reisig from voting on this item because he has a possible conflict of
I'll
interest.
just abstain.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right, so we have a motion and a second, to, have, approve, or, have Mr. Reisig not vote on this item.
Abstain.
All right,
Are you gonna, do you plan on pushing that yellow button on
I
your,
was going to, if you want me to. I will push it.
I can't take you in one part of this and off.
Okay, just take me out then. I'll
No,
vote.
I need you to stay in if you
Okay,
would
I'm in.
push that.
I'm in.
Okay,
all right,
Tell me what I need to do.
so,
We're voting to allow
Hearing
you
no
to
other
abstain,
discussion.
So don't abstain.
no, he needs
we'll
to.
go ahead and vote.
Abstain.
Okay,
I'm sorry to let you down, Ken.
not letting me down, I'm just trying to do it right.
I know.
I think it's gonna be right when
All
we're
right,
all done.
so the motion
No,
is
it's not,
carried.
but that's okay.
All right,
It's back
and
to you, so.
why don't we just do this for the future, Mr. Ocean? When we need to do this in the future, can you and Kelly coordinate exactly how you want us to do it?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
But, like you said, if somebody has the intention of pulling out of something, I need the chance to be able to set up.
It would be
for
helpful to know in advance, okay?
What she
all right.
said she
All right,
got.
and I believe that takes care of the entire issue with that. I don't think we need a third motion
Well,
that way.
I think we have to pay the warrant. We took it out of there, I think we still have to pay it, and I'm still not gonna get a check yet. You guys have gotta pay the warrant.
It's already approved.
Well, I thought we
I
did,
don't-
but if we didn't, do
No,
you
it's
think
not
we need to?
approved, you pulled it out.
We pulled it out, now we
We
got, you
did.
guys need to pay.
That's what I was trying to explain.
How
That
did
is-
you write down the motion?
I had it set up for everyone but Russ to pay that warrant.
Okay, then we should be good.
And we did it in that last motion.
Yes.
That's right, it's been approved.
Okay, I didn't understand
Okay.
that last part, okay, then we're good.
All right, can we try and get this issue ironed out?
Yes.
All right, Jason and, Kelly can do it, and we'll do it according to the instructions that you tell us to do it. Because I'm not sure that any of what we just did is exactly the way that I would want to do it, but we'll figure it out for the next time. All right. We're going on down to, the building and zoning area, and for a 4:30 public hearing, to discuss and consider approval of a request by Regina Doty for an ag special use area located in section 22, township 23 north, range 54 west. Bill, let me just say, we're gonna go ahead and officially open the public hearing, but go ahead and give us your presentation.
Sure. So this place is located just south of Little Lake Alice. What they're wanting to do is there's just a little bit over 20 acres now. They want to cut 16 acres off that all lies on the east side of the irrigation canal to sell to the neighbor who lives on the south. And then they're going to retain the two homes that are on the west side of the canal. So where it's under 20 acres, that it needs approval from the county. So the planning commission did recommend approval by a 5-0 vote. It does meet all the requirements of the regulations. It has access. He's just gonna use it for grazing and farming.
Okay? And so let me ask this evening, and this is a public hearing, is there anyone here this evening that would like to speak in favor of this item? If there is, come forward. Okay, let the record show there were none. Is there anyone here this evening that would like to speak, against this proposal? Let the record show there were none. And, so I'm gonna officially close the public hearing. So I just wanna affirm that you said that the planning commission looked at it and by a 5-0 vote, approved it at their regular meeting in December.
They recommended approval for.
Okay.
Yep.
How many houses do you have retained in the balance?
There's 2 over on that 4.5 acres.
And how much do we require per acre per
4.
house?
Well, you can have 2 homes up over 4 acres, so you have to
Yeah.
have at least 4.
Okay, just so we're in the right ballpark there.
And 3 for 1, right? 3 acres for 1.
That depends what it's zoned. This is still zoned agricultural there, so, is it, she just doesn't have any use for that portion that's laying
Gotcha.
over there, so.
Have you got access from the north? Where's your access, Bill?
It's coming off County Road 26. If you look at the line there, see, the top, then it would be the north boundary. There's actually a 25-foot access easement that comes in from the west.
I'm not seeing an easement here. Oh, that little stuff, okay, I don't show it there.
Yeah, it's kinda small,
can't
that
see it.
little blue there.
Okay, so you have how wide of an easement?
25, that's our requirement.
Okay, and that's off of the property. Now, is there a road here, or is that just ditch?
It's
ground?
a trail.
Oh, isn't there a ditch going through here? That's
Yeah,
over here.
but there's actually a bridge over it. There's a culvert there.
So there's a way to get in,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay, just as long as we have access.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, I moved that we approve the, special use, sale, for Gina Doty to her
Well, I think
neighbor.
we're still in a.
We close the public public hearing, okay? So,
I'll second it.
your motion is to approve the, request for
Right.
The ag special use area.
Right.
special use, okay? And we have a second, Russ, you said?
I do.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
You have 5 yeses.
All right, motion's carried. All right, then we'll go to your next item, Bill, the, discuss and consider reappointment of members to the Scotts Bluff County Planning Commission.
Yep, so the 2026 through 2028 term is up, so just wanna reappoint those same 3 guys to that term. It's Dean Shaneman, Vernon Grosskopf, and Seth Pop.
I would move for approval.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve those 3, suggested, men.
Are they all for 3-year terms?
Yes.
Okay, any other questions? Comments? Hearing none, we'll vote. See, Matt, yours didn't
One more
take.
time, Matt.
Yeah.
There you go.
You have 5 yeses.
All right, motion's carried. Thanks.
Thanks, Bill.
All right, that'll conclude the building and zoning items. We'll go to Board of Equalization. Heather?
Could we have a motion?
I move that we go into the Board of Equalization.
Yeah.
I'll second it.
So we have a motion and a second to go to Board of Equalization. We'll go ahead and vote.
You have 5 yeses?
Motion's carried. Go ahead, Heather.
Okay, so the first one is for the Cirrus House, and I am going to ask you, it's for their January renewals, and I was unable to get the calculations of tax loss on one of those vehicles because it was too early in my system. So I'm gonna ask you to table it until January 5th, and I will bring it back.
And that's on
The
that
one for
one.
Cirrus House?
Yeah, it's for the Sears house.
I'll
They
make a
have
motion to
3
table.
vehicles, so if you would please just table that one.
So your motion is to table the Sears House item on the agenda.
Right.
No,
Okay.
second that.
So we have a motion and a second to table the item about Sears House and 3 vehicle exemptions. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
Just a sec.
Just a minute, it looks like.
I'm ready.
All right.
You have 5 yeses.
Motion's carried. All right,
Thank you.
wanna go to the next one?
Which one do you have as next, the buckboard or the
Turning
church?
point.
Turning point.
Turning Point, okay, Turning Point Apostolic Church has one vehicle. It's a 2020 Ford Transit van for church use. It's a tax loss of $151.20. And I would recommend approval. It was previously tax exempt.
I move that we approve the vehicle exemption for Turning Point Apostolic Church.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the exemption for the Turning Point Church. Any other discussion? All right, we'll go ahead and vote. Yours still isn't going, Matt. There you go.
You have 5 yeses.
All right, motion's carried. We'll go to the next one, buckboard.
All right, so I have, Buckboard got a new trailer. The tax loss is only $10, but it is used for hauling hay and stuff within the association of the Buckboard. I would recommend approval. It's a charitable organization.
What was the tax loss again? It wasn't much.
$10.
Oh, really?
I move that we approve the tax exemption for the Buckboard Therapeutic Riding Academy's trailer.
And it's a 2020 trailer that's new to them, so.
And I'll second that.
All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
You have 5 yeses.
All right, motion's carried. All right, thanks. All right, the next item is to receive the tax list, corrections. We have copies of that we received in our, packet. Is there any questions or comments, from the commissioners?
Move for approval.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second to approve the tax list corrections. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and vote.
You have 5 yeses.
All right, motion's carried. Okay, we need a motion to go out of Board of Equalization.
I move that we go out of Board of Equalization.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
A motion and a second to go out of Board of Equalization. Any other discussion? We'll go ahead and vote. Ken, yours didn't take.
Because I didn't push a button.
Oh,
There we go.
You have 5 yeses.
motion's carried. All right, so we're gonna go on to the item called General Agenda Items. Remember, this is where we're changing up the, lineup of, items. We're going to the back page, 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th item down, which says to receive information regarding Village of Henry interlocal agreement for census boundary and annexation survey. Amanda?
Okay, so this is a new agreement to the county, should it go through. My office in the past has filed what's called the Boundary and Annexation Survey for the census, on behalf of the Village of Henry. So when I took over last January, I did the same thing, I filed it. However, I decided to visit with Jason about the item just because since I'm submitting to the census information for another political subdivision, I thought it was best to have an agreement in place. So today is just for you all to get your eyes on it, get any feedback, any questions, concerns, before presenting it to the village.
So Amanda, I might ask you a question, so, what was it, a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, they had an issue of some of the remapping and, where the boundaries were. Is this part of that correction of all of that?
No, not necessarily. I remember what you're talking about. They did have some issues with their corporate boundary line and whether or not it had been filed and whatnot. Now that information would have been submitted to the census as a change. So what happens is the census sends what they have in their system as far as your boundaries. For the Henry area, it would pretty much just be your corporate limit line, is all that they would submit. For me, it comes in a shapefile format online. I go in, I verify that it matches what I have in my system, and then I resubmit it as, yes, it's okay. If Henry were to have any changes, I would mark the areas that had the change. They wanna know why it changed. Usually if there's, like a document number or something, they want a document reference from the village. So in future, if that does happen, I would have to coordinate with the village to make sure I had, you know, all the changes that they make would need to come through me. And that is part of the agreement as well, is that, you know, if they do have any boundary changes, they make sure they get it to me if I'm going to continue to submit. But, those changes are then submitted to, the census.
And so they would be in agreement with this agreement, would that be true?
If it all goes through, yes. They have not received it yet. It's, I'll bring it back next board meeting for a signature. I just wanted y'all to have eyes on it first.
Okay, and then you would take it to them
Correct.
and then come back to us?
Correct.
Okay. for
Do they
approval.
have any extended zoning, like a mile radius on their city?
To my knowledge, I don't think that they do have
So it wouldn't include
extended
that.
jurisdiction.
You
No. For this, no, it would just be the
Just
corporate boundary.
Corporate boundary, okay, that's good.
And so are you wanting action tonight on this item?
No, this one is just an FYI. Hey, I'm working on it.
Okay,
Yeah, the next one will need an action.
okay, but you'll be bringing this
I'll
back
be
to
bringing it
us
back
for
to you,
action
yes.
later?
Yes.
All right.
Yep. It's just a new agreement, so I wanted to make sure you all saw it
right.
before I move forward.
Any questions on this from commissioners? All right. Okay, we'll move on to the next item, which is discuss and consider approval of the chairman's signature on an interlocal agreements with the city of Scotts Bluff and city of Gearing for pictometry imagery.
Are they
Right.
separate or are they doing?
Uh,
one
No, that's all
motion?
together.
all together?
Yeah, I submitted it as one motion for
Okay,
both.
okay.
So this is an existing, agreement that's been with the city for both cities, I think, since 2016. It's the last one, or the first one I saw. I think our first imagery was in 2017. But, so what happens is my office, and the assessor, we contract with a company called Eagle View to do pictometry imagery for the county. I budget for the full amount. It's flown over the entire county, but the cities, like to use the imagery. And so in the very beginning, I believe it was Susie at the time, made the agreement that, the cities would help pay for the portion of imagery that's over top of their corporate limits. So then they get access not to just what you see on Beacon, but they actually get the imagery that they can put into whatever system they wanna put into and use it, for their purposes. So they've agreed to pay for a portion of the imagery, and, this is another agreement that, Jason also prepared for me.
Good.
You'll find not only the agreement, but also a, payment summary, and then a map showing what they're getting for their money. So they would reimburse us for those pieces.
And when was the last time we did this?
2023,
Okay,
Was the
so
last
every 2
imagery.
years,
every 3.
3.
Yeah, we're,
Okay. So
this,
this will be in 26.
right, the flight for this agreement will be in 2026.
Okay. these costs are similar to what they had before,
A couple
Little
hundred more
higher.
than the last time, yeah.
okay? Alright. And so, are there any questions about these agreements from anyone?
See the two separate.
Yeah, I see
Agreements.
they're separate, but, are you saying or suggesting that we could do one motion to approve both resolutions at the same time?
That's the way it's
Or
written.
agreements, I mean?
That's how I submitted it.
That's
I
the way
don't
it's
know if
written.
it's a question for Jason, if that can be, if it needs to be.
Chairman's signature, I think is what we're,
Chairman's
The
signature
approval of the chairman's
on
signature.
these.
Right.
Right.
so,
So
two
we're
separate
approving-
interlocal agreements, but we're just approving your
Me being able to sign
Ability.
them,
To
to
sign
sign
both,
them.
right.
okay?
Just one motion.
one motion. And I would make that motion, allowing
Okay.
the chair to, sign both interlocal agreements.
I'll second that.
Alright, I have a motion and a second to, authorize the chairman to sign the agreements. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and vote.
You have 5 yeses.
Alright, motion's carried. Alright, thank you. Okay, we're gonna go back on the agenda to the front page. And we'll try and go down through the items on the agenda in order now. The first one is to discuss and consider a recommendation from the Facility Manager Selection Committee. Myself and Russ and, let's see, I think Charlotte was involved with those, interviews. And I can give you, so we interviewed, 3 or 4?
Four.
4. We had 4, people that we interviewed. The person that came to the top of the list was Steve Davidson, and he's been the acting facility and building person since Jay has been gone, and he's been in that position prior. He's been working in that area for several years. He seems to be, well-liked by his, subordinate people that are underneath him. The recommendation from Commissioner Reisig and myself, and I think everyone on the committee, was for him to be the one that was, offered the job. And from a technical standpoint, I think at that day, we thought that it would be enough to simply be able to, offer him that job, because I thought that some of our positions had been done that way by Lisa in the past, that she had officially hired them. But, certainly some, commissioners felt that we should approve that action here, and that's why it's on the agenda. The recommendation from the interview committee, is for it to be Steve Davidson.
I would move for the approval of Steve Davidson.
I'd like to speak. I'll go ahead.
Well,
I'm talking.
let's get a second,
Can I get my motion?
Second,
okay? Now go ahead.
Well, Steve Davidson has a lot of technical skills as far as refrigeration, air conditioning, boilers. He had he kinda had a lot of background that I think we need at the present time with Jay's absence, and, so we just kinda felt that he was the guy we needed at this point in time, so.
He did bring to the committee, a large list of, previous certifications and, qualifications that he had been approved for. He'd worked in the, HVAC type industry in the Denver area and North Platte previously. And he has a lot of certifications, that he brought to us, to the interview as well, so. All right, any other discussion? All right, so we have a motion and a second to, approve the appointment of, Steve Davidson to that role. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
You have 5 yeses?
All right, so the motion's carried. The next item is to discuss and consider recommendation from the Management Accountant Human Resource Director Selection Committee. And, Ken Meyer, myself, and Lisa, was involved with those interviews. And on those, we had, 3 people that we interviewed. And, so, so we had, I think, 2 people that come to the, top of the list that we were considering. And I think between Ken and I, let me just tell you about, one of the stories here, and then we'll go from there. Of course, one of the applicants was Robert, and, Robert Simpson, our current county assessor. And, so it would be a little bit of a unique situation where we had a elected official also, being, appointed to a appointed, position. And, when that was originally, when Robert originally applied, I asked that, our, county attorney, Mr. Ocean, review that and whether or not that was, appropriate or legal to be able to do it under the state statutes. Jason, do you wanna just give us what you found?
Sure. So, Attorney Jeff Kirkpatrick, who does work for NERMA, the county's insurance carrier, had been alerted to the issue and had already started looking into this. And so as not to duplicate services or billing to the county, decision was made, Lisa and I discussed that, just having Mr. Kirkpatrick finish up his research on that matter. And he provided a memo earlier this month, looking at whether can an elected county assessor contract to provide additional services to a county. And one of the things that Mr. Kirkpatrick had looked at was Nebraska has an accountability and disclosure commission, kind of similar to the Attorney General's office, where you can submit questions to them, and at times, if it's a matter of public concern, they can issue a public opinion on that question as to whether or not, in this case, an elected official could provide additional services to the county. The previous advisory opinion goes back to 1987, when a county clerk was looking at, the county had a need for IT services. I think this was Gage County, Nebraska. And the commission had looked at the legality of whether or not that would be permissible for an elected official to provide additional services to that county and bill for it. And they determined that it could be, that it was, if certain things were to happen, that you would need to make sure you disclosed any conflicts of interest that could arise between the two, your elected office and a contract, and have a plan in place for how you would handle that. And Mr. Kirkpatrick, it looks like, incorporated that public opinion into his memo, indicating that I think essentially that it would not be illegal for for Mr. Simpson to do that, that there would be some potential conflicts of interest that would need to be determined how he would handle them moving forward. He would need to have a plan in place. For example, if there's budget issues in the assessor's office, if there's any personal or familial conflicts of interest that could arise if you have your HR hat on, how you're going to handle those things. Otherwise, in discussing it with Mr. Kirkpatrick, in addition to what he put in the memo, for a plan to handle conflicts, that looking at the duties of a county assessor and the duties that Lisa currently performs, that they would be separate and distinct duties. And his review of the statute didn't find any illegality in somebody taking on, I guess, all of those duties at the same time, if they can account for, potential conflicts of interest. And then, something I don't think he specifically addressed in the memo, but we had discussed, would be just the time element, that it would be discretionary with the county board of commissioners to determine, the time issue, whether there's sufficient time to properly perform elected duties and duties that he could take on by appointment.
Okay. So, yeah, I wanted to be sure. I know that, the commissioners were sent a copy of that late last week. And then, also, Lisa had emailed you, the other commissioners, the applications of the people that we interviewed. And, you should have all got that by email. One of the, issues this evening is that, we've mentioned Robert's name. At least one of the others had mentioned that they would prefer not to be named in a public session. In that, they had not, made unless they were maybe the finalist, obviously, but they had not disclosed the information to their current employer. And so because of that, they prefer to not be mentioned in a public session. So Ken and I are in a little bit of a quandary. Unlike the facility manager position, Russ and I were, and I think Charlotte as well, we were all in agreement as who we felt came to the top of the list. And we had a little difference between Ken and I, and then for actually somewhat some other reason, I'll let Ken maybe explain that, if he wants to, or the recommendation that I was prepared to give tonight was a recommendation for Robert to be, appointed into that position. But Ken, you need to discuss your.
Yeah, I will. First of all, I wanna start out with the way it was handled. And for those of you that don't understand, we have a liaison that is appointed to every department. We have a liaison that is given to each one of the department heads. I happen to be the liaison for the management accountant and the HR. I found out about this whole thing by rumor. I was not notified by anything, which seems to be the standard lately. And I know that meetings were held, and I know that, I should say, I was made aware that decisions were made about all of this thing. Once I did get the notification, I think I called Mark and indicated I didn't know that it was a good thing to do. And it has nothing to do with the qualifications of the individuals. It's nothing personal. But my concern is that, first of all, it's not a contract. This is not a contracted situation. It's appointing somebody to a department head position. Now, I can understand if we had an elected official who, and I think we discussed that, who, has experience in IT. And one of the departments has problems in IT, and we contract with that elected official to do the IT work. Okay, I have no problem with that. But now what we're doing, basically, in my opinion, which obviously doesn't mean a whole lot, but my opinion is that we are now setting up two part-time positions. Part-time to the assessor's office, part-time to the management accountant. And in my opinion, I think both of those deserve a full-time position. We all know how hard the assessor's office works. And if they're short, they need more help. I personally know how hard Lisa works in the management accountant's office. We talk regularly. And one of the things that I visit with Lisa about when I do her evaluations, please tell me, do you need more help? Do you need something more to get you through to help get your plate cleaned off? Because I know she's busy. Now we moved Charlotte up there, and I think that helps a lot. Lisa has another really good gal that helps with her HR issues. But again, my concern is we're creating two part-time positions. And I don't think either one of these departments deserve a part-time position. I think they both need to be full-time. It may be legal. You know, I called, I made the phone calls also and was told, yeah, it's legal to do. One of them said, I don't know how ethical it is, but it's legal. And I'm kind of sided with them. I don't know how ethical all this is it, because I think there are conflicts of interest, and there could be. And I don't think we need to put Robert into that position, or into that situation, not position. So that, you know, that's my concern. Can Robert do the job? I don't have any doubts whatsoever, none whatsoever.
So when I spoke to Mr., and he did the research on this one, I did not,
Right.
because he had already started it, I didn't wanna duplicate efforts, and Mr. Kirkpatrick does a good job, and when I spoke to him, you know, he indicates very clearly, he's just weighing in on the legality of whether you could do it, he's not making any assertions of whether
Sure,
you should.
and I understand,
And-
right.
And we talked about, you know, that it would be purely with, you know, the county commissioner's purview to decide, you know, with time availability and the duties, whether that can be performed or not. But he just wanted to make clear he wasn't weighing in on the should, just the legality of whether he
Right.
could.
And the other concern I have, and I think it's not a secret, Robert's assessor's office is full. You've got a lot of, 2 years people in there? And it's an important, other than probably Amanda, who was moved in there from the mapping. But there's a lot of important things that happen in that office that need to have attention. And I have a concern. And I'll just ask, would you be willing to give up your position as assessor, Robert?
I've already answered that question, so you can feel free to, I think I've already interviewed, answered everybody's questions, and I've answered that question to you already, Mr.
Okay, well, you basically said no, you wouldn't. Just for everybody, that you would not give it up, that you would do both jobs. Okay. I was giving you an opportunity here, that's all I'm trying to do, Robert. Trying to give you the benefit of the doubt. But that's my concern, and it's a concern that I still will have, even though, and I'm guessing, I'm relatively sure which way it's going to go. I believe it's been decided quite some time ago. But I have a concern, I have a real true concern about it. And I don't know how anybody else feels, but that's where I'm at with it, Mark.
Is the findings of this committee that, Mr. Simpson maintain his position as, accountant? Or,
As the
assessor,
assessor,
and do, the management accountant and human resource director?
It certainly was, that was the premise of the interview.
And that's what
That's what his,
direction of the committee is, that we approve that, authorize that.
well, that's gonna be my recommendation. And again, but I wanted to be sure that Ken's, viewpoint was heard. but that's gonna be my recommendation and probably my motion here in just a little bit. And I do wanna say that most of you did then get to read, I mean, all the commissioners should have got it from Lisa, but we got to read the resume from Mr. Simpson. And it's an extensive resume. He can, tell you about it, if you ask him, later. He's had extensive, positions. In some cases, he was, in charge of the Aurora loan and part of Lehman Brothers, the way I understand it, here. He had a job in India that he had 2,000 employees, and then he's had, jobs in law firms. He's been, the way I understand it, a partner in some of these firms, and it's extensive. Certainly his, background would, say that he can manage numerous people and numerous, people at high level positions. And, he has, his resume is extensive. And, I do believe this is somewhat unusual, and, it will be a little, if he's appointed, it will be a little strange because, under one hat, he would be, an elected official, and in the other hat, he would be an appointed official. And commissioners have a whole different take on how we can manage people as an elected official, which isn't a lot of managing, and the appointed official side of things, we do have a lot more control over. So it would be a little bit unique and a little bit, of a, trial, situation. As with any appointed official, they're appointed at the commissioner's, pleasure. And meaning that if at some point in time that we didn't think it worked, we have the opportunity to, change. And he's also at the, pleasure of the people in his other position, in the elected position. And in fact, if he's gonna remain the assessor, he's gonna have to run next year. And if the citizens of Scotts Bluff County don't feel it's appropriate, for him to be in both positions, they might in fact not elect him. But that's a thing that he knows is, I think, at risk for him. And, so I think that there's some, I'll call it safeguards, so to speak, in both of those situations. But based upon the information, in his resume, based upon several comments that we have received in, concerning what I consider some successes in the assessor's office, I think is an example of some of his leadership qualities. And, not only has he done that, but we also have incorporated the mapping department, of course, into the assessor's area. So really, not only are we talking about the assessor's office, but the mapping office, and which was previously an appointed official in charge of that, and then now talking about, the finance management accountant position.
Mark, let me just reiterate something. I'm not questioning Robert's abilities, one bit. Absolutely not one bit. I read his original resume when he was brought on to the assessor's office, and it was impressive, so, and it's still impressive. Again, it's nothing personal. I'm just looking at the whole big picture. I have no doubt that he's capable of doing whatever you ever want to do. Not just this job, but whatever you put your mind to it, you're gonna get it done. That's the kind of person I think you are. So that's, having said that, it's not about you personally. It is about the two positions. So that's where we're at.
And Mr. Kirkpatrick, in his email, he did, the example that he used was IT services. I think this goes beyond that. The appointed official, that's significant, the amount of work for management accountant and human resource director. I'm just concerned that, why are we doing this? To save money? Because I think both positions deserve a full-time person, separate person. And I don't, Robert, I'm not suggesting that you're not qualified as the management accountant, human resource director. I just have reservations with anybody's ability to do both. So,
And I recognize what both Matt and Ken are saying. When we mentioned the issue of saving money, I don't know that we've fully decided on any kind of pay structure for this, but there was mentioned the possibility of that position being, Lisa's is substantially higher, but that position as part-time possibly being at $75,000, and Lisa's make substantially more than that. And so realizing, I think, a couple things, and that is, what I think could take place here is what I would refer to as being, there's no doubt that I don't think Robert, we could never say that he would be full-time in one and full-time in the other, but with the staff that I think he would be having, you could call it virtually two people filling that position, or even partially a third person filling in those two positions. So, but with the direction and the leadership coming from Robert. And with that, I don't have a problem with that, and I'm gonna entertain a motion in a minute to appoint Robert to that position. I also want to mention, I've talked to Lisa about timing, and that she feels that, she talked to us when she originally gave us her letter of resignation. She talked about being able to work through the 29th. She said that from a payroll standpoint and a pay period standpoint, she thought that she should call that actually the 19th. Because it's the, what's that?
It's kinda changing.
Is it changing?
Yeah, I've had a couple bumps this last week or so, but, I mean, it won't be much different.
Okay.
Full time till the end of the month.
When are you gonna go to the end of the month then? Perfect.
But I think, my intent was to suggest that that Robert, if we nominate and elect Robert into this position, that the training, and I think could start immediately with working together. And then at whatever date, no later than the 29th, I would think would be an official day of Robert taking over. You and I had talked possibly on the 22nd, but you're saying it might be a little later than that.
He could be officially taking over the 21st and working with me.
Okay,
That'd be
and then
fine.
working with, but he would be basically the person, and then at that point. And the 21st, I believe, is a Saturday,
It'll be fine if you'll,
or no, Sunday, and then the 22nd, I think.
And Lisa, you don't have your microphone turned to you.
Oh, I am so sorry. Yes, thank you. What is Monday? The 22nd?
Monday is the 22nd.
Yes.
You know, I'd like to say something. There's always that phrase, we've always done it this way, and that's created a lot of train wrecks. I believe in thinking outside the box. One of the biggest concerns we hear every day is high taxes, expenses of running county government. I think it behooves us to take a chance once in a while, do something different, whether it be combining departments or creating 2 part-time positions to accomplish the mission. So I feel as a future for Scotts Bluff County, we need to start thinking outside the box. We can't keep doing things the way we've always done and expect different results. I know Robert pretty well. I know his background. I've worked with him as a commissioner. I have absolutely no doubt that he can do both jobs quite well. And so that's my opinion.
Well,
well,
so let me do something here, and then we'll see where it goes. So my motion is to appoint Robert Simpson as the management accountant / HR person, the same position that Lisa has had, and for that to for him officially to take on that position as of December 22nd. That's a week from today. And
While maintaining his
while
job as
maintaining his
assessor.
other work as assessor. And so that's my motion.
I'll second that.
now can I say something?
Yeah, so discussion now.
You gotta, I just think that Robert would do an excellent job at both 3 or 4, whatever you put in his plate. The other thing is, it wouldn't hurt to have, maybe if he is, you know, maybe a little over his head, and he brought in another person and cross-trained and worked him with the assessor, with his accounting abilities, to have a person here if something would happen and fall apart. The way we are right now, if somebody would get sick and leave, we don't have anybody. I mean, basically, if Lisa would go away tonight, we don't know what to do tomorrow. But if Robert cross-trained and brought some other people along up with him, I think it's a good move for the county.
You're talking about adding personnel?
Well, eventually,
I see.
not right now. We're gonna be saving some money to do that. We're gonna be saving quite a
Okay.
bit of money.
And I'm concerned too about, you know, that is a huge job that Lisa's holding.
But
And it
anybody
takes
can
a
drop
lot
out
of,
on you at any time, and how do you fix that?
all the more reason for us,
And-
you
and
know,
the
to,
more that
to
we can
fill it.
get
I agree.
involved in that.
I agree.
So,
But assessor is also, an important job, and how many counties in the state, have, an assessor who's also doing management accountant and human resource director? That'd be none. And,
Well-
you know, I really, I'm concerned, and there's also the appointed official versus elected official. I don't think it's a good idea.
Okay. Any other discussion?
I'd like to say something. And I know you don't like to hear from me, but I'm a constituent and I would really like to say something. My name's Robin Kinney, Kinney. I live in Gearing, Nebraska. I'm not questioning Robert's abilities. I'm not questioning his desire to do both jobs. But you have 2 full-time positions that both deserve full-time attention from whoever is holding them. And then you say, well, we can cross-train and we can bring in additional people. Where is the savings gonna be if he's doing 2 jobs part-time? You're still gonna be paying him those wages, full-time for one or full-time for the other, because by law, he is entitled to collect both salaries. It's in statute. It's in the statute.
It might be, but that's not what's gonna happen.
Yeah, well, how do I know that? How's it gonna affect my taxes?
You
How
don't
many-
have a choice on what you pay the assessor
You don't.
position.
You're gonna pay him full.
You've
you're
said
gonna
it
pay him-
by resolution, he gets it.
He
Yeah,
gets
no
full.
matter what. I
Right.
mean, and if he's working full-time as the assessor, great, give him a full-time wage for the assessor. But both of these positions deserve the attention of a full-time person in them. They're both very big positions, and one of the things that really, really concerns me is he's setting the valuations and then turning around, spending and making the money decisions. So basically, if Robert decides that, well, we need to do A, B, C, and D, he can just raise the levy.
The board decides that. The
Well-
board decides the expenditure.
Yeah, and you do you have done in the past pretty much whatever Robert has presented to you.
And there's caps now.
You're talking about on the assessor side?
Yeah, I mean,
Well, that's not spending.
it's not a good look. What are the checks and balances that are gonna be in place? Have you talked about the checks and balances? Have you presented the checks and balances? I haven't heard anything about any checks and balances. And I'm concerned. I've worked with money my entire life. I've managed money at 2 different law firms, and it's not that difficult to have one thing disappear, this thing disappear, this thing disappear. In fact, I turned
I would
over
really-
at Douglas Kelly, the bookkeeper that they just hired for embezzlement because I found the mistake.
I would be really careful the accusations you're making.
I'm not making accusations. I am just saying the potential is there.
It's everywhere, man.
Yeah.
It-
And so
this-
why
this
would
isn't
you
gonna stop it.
why would you set up a situation where it could actually happen? You have right now two very qualified people. You've added the mapping department to the assessor's office, so that's basically what, 3 what would be full-time positions now that you're going to be putting together, plus HR? He'd have to supervise his wife. What are your checks and balances if there's a problem in her office?
That will have to be dealt with at that time. when we
Well,
get
I
there.
think you should have all of this stuff
She's
laid
elect-
out.
Yeah, she's elected, she doesn't have HR, I guess.
I think you need to have all of this stuff laid out before you're making an employment offer and offering money. These are my tax dollars. You're talking about, okay, well, he can do both jobs and we're gonna bring on more staff. How is that going to affect each office's budget? Is he gonna take a cut?
Right now, it's gonna be less.
Russ,
And
let's
even if
let
you
her
add-
say her story and sit down, and then we can discuss.
I mean, how many
Instead of
people
arguing.
are they gonna need in each office? What is that gonna be, what cost is that gonna be to the taxpayers? It's not a good look at all. It does not look good from anybody's perspective other than yours. I mean, show me the numbers. Show me where you're gonna save all this money. Show me what it's gonna cost me as a taxpayer to combine these 2 offices and pay him for a full-time office as assessor, and then whatever you're gonna pay him to do a full-time position as a management accountant with all the other personnel you're bringing in to handle the duties that he can't handle in your full-time position. It's not a good look.
All right, thanks. Ma'am?
My name is Crystal Ike, KrystalEich. I'm in Gehring, Nebraska. I guess I'm gonna ask it a little more succinctly. Who are we currently paying 40 hours a week that doesn't have a 40-hour-a-week workload? Who's twiddling their thumbs for less than 40 hours a week right now that we pay? Hopefully no one.
Well,
I mean-
there's a whole lot of people in this building that don't work 40 hours a week.
So we would have to increase their hours and pay them more, correct?
Not that I know
To
of.
pick up extra.
Yeah.
So I guess the point is, we have 2 40-hour-a-week jobs that we're gonna spread out with one person and maybe some other people helping. Well, what are those other people currently working? Are they not working 40 hours a week? If they aren't, are we gonna have to up their wages? I agree that your cost savings, listen, you guys, I want you to spend as few of my tax dollars as you possibly can. I love that. But I just don't see mathematically how that works out. And so I agree with that concern. And then I agree that the person in charge of setting and approving your budget is also in charge of setting your property valuations. I get it, nobody is accusing anybody of having any improprieties there, but you have to think of the optics of that. And when people come in to contest their valuations, are they gonna say, he's just trying to make up money for the budget? It's a question you're gonna have to answer when property valuations are contested. And the final thing I would really like to bring up is that your annual audit findings say there is a lack of segregation of accounting functions among various county offices and personnel. This is a continuing item from the prior year. I think you're not only not addressing that,
Let me just answer something for you. It was addressed in the interview process, and felt Mr. Simpson said, I believe I can. That item has been on the audit for years, and years and years. And Mr. Simpson said, I'm of the belief that I can get that off of the auditor's opinion by handling the funds through different people and different offices, and he said, I think I can get that off.
More
So
people
it
would be
was
looking.
addressed.
More people would be looking.
I just, yeah, again, I think, you know, you're adding additional to accounting management rather than spacing it out. But again, mathematically, if you've got people currently working all their hours, combining two into one, we're not gonna be cost saving. You're gonna end up hiring additional personnel, and the optics of combining some of these positions, and again, all those employee reporting situations, those HR situations, you know, so now you're gonna have, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, cause you have accounting, HR, assessors, and GIS, all have to have a different avenue if they have an HR concern. Because all those people, if I'm in GIS and I have a problem, HR problem, I've gotta find another person to go to for a HR problem. So it's a lot,
We
I
have
would
two
guess
people
you're
in
probably
HR.
close to a dozen employees,
We
wouldn't
do
it?
have 2 people in HR right now, so I'm sure they could go to the other person or vice versa.
Or the commissioner.
Pardon?
Or the commissioner.
Or the commissioners.
They
I
can
mean,
stand right here.
I think you might be creating a few more problems than you're trying to solve. And again, I have no doubt that Mr. Simpson is fully capable of taking on any of these positions. I think we're just going a little too far trying to take that many jobs and combine them into one. So that's just my opinion.
Appreciate it. So, during the interview process, Mr. Simpson, talked of saving money in the overall scheme of money being spent rather than it, costing more money, that, the intent would be to save money. And so I think the important part for the commissioners is that we would hold his feet to the fire, so to speak, under that thought, and looking at exactly how that process would shake out with the people in certain positions. And we would be looking to him to show us what his exact plan would be.
We're holding his feet to the fire from a elected official position or appointed.
Well, from an elected official person, we don't have a lot of control, and just like we didn't have, we don't have today, and we wouldn't have so much there, other than the one thing that we do have control over elected officials are their budgets. And so in the long-term story, we would have control over a budget, particularly a budget that would be possibly excessive in a personnel line item area. We do have control over that. Now, one of the things that is, for those of you that were here early tonight, we had a meeting at 3:30 that discussed salaries for elected officials. And that's not just the assessor position, but it's all the elected positions. And whatever that, by state statute, we have to set salaries for the next 4 years.
Starting 2027.
starting in 27, and then for 4 years. We set those, salaries, and, so those are, what is, set for that period of time. And those are set in statute and by resolution, and so, that's what gets done for the assessor position. The, accountant position can be fluctuated.
Did he interview for the accountant position, or did he interview for, the management accountant HR?
Well, management accountant HR, the position that Lisa has,
So
that's what he interviewed for.
At what point did we decide that we were gonna keep him as the assessor?
That was his decision, not ours. He wanted to keep his position as assessor, and he was applying for the accountant, HR person as well, and felt he could do both. But we didn't make that decision. It was his proposal.
And it was discussed prior to our interview, correct? Would I be correct in that?
I know that there was discussions that Robert had, it was 2 weeks ago after our commissioner meeting that, Robert explained it to me, what he was hoping to do. And then it was then, or maybe prior to that he had already applied, put his application in. I don't know when you applied.
Put his application the day that it came out, did you not?
Before.
Before?
Yeah. Well, it's after I announced it, and then it took like a week before we posted it.
Oh,
But he knew about it, cause I told him that I was resigning, and yeah, he put his name in.
okay.
Were you aware of the plan, Russ?
Not till he put his name in, no.
But you were aware of that
I
before?
talk to Robert a lot.
Okay.
I go down and I have coffee with Robert
Sure,
three
okay,
times a week.
sure, okay. I guess that's what my point is that as liaison to that department, I was not aware of it. So it would have been,
Well,
it's
he
okay,
put his name in, like I said, I visit with Robert.
yeah.
I have a question. It's Maya Lukes of the Star Herald. I'd like to know how many commissioners were aware of this before the interview and had discussions with Robert Simpson that he was planning on applying for this position and wanting to be considered for it. I'd like people to be honest about whether or not you already discussed
I was
it.
made aware of it prior to the, prior to the interview, yes.
I talked to
Yeah.
Robert prior to the interview. I'm not gonna lie to you, I talked to him, like I said, I visit with Robert.
I talked to him last, but if you're asking, did we do it as a group, more than two people at one time, the answer is no.
Had conversations with him prior to the interview.
I did not.
Individually or as a group.
I did not.
I talked to Steve Davidson before he was interviewed.
I talked to Robert 2 weeks ago after a meeting, and he told me that was his intention.
And Mr. Blue, how about you?
No, ma'am. I talked to Robert after the interview and at me in his office, and he called me in and we talked about it.
So everyone, I'm sorry, I'm gonna come up to the mic. Because- So everyone has had a conversation with Robert prior to this meeting about hiring him?
Not prior, this meeting?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Today.
Well, yeah, I would think that would be wise.
Do you do that normally when you hire for someone? Do every single one of you call somebody and interview them? For example, for Steve, did each and every single one of you call Steve
If I have
and
coffee
ask
with him, I
Steve?
will.
Did each and every single one of you call Steve and interview and ask him and discuss with him his potential hiring for this position before this meeting today?
I met
ma'am.
with Steve down at the generator.
Yes, well, and I think that you have some supervision with, so I can understand how people who supervise him.
No,
But I'm asking
I'm
if each
his
of the commissioners
liaison
did.
person for Steve,
Yeah,
and yes, I
well,
discussed it with
And
him.
Russ also has a lot of construction
knowledge.
experience, et cetera, so I
Sure.
could see how occasionally there might be a conversation, but I'm just wondering, because you said that, you know, everybody thinks that it's okay that you all called and had individual discussions with Robert, but do you do that for everybody? For all
If I
the
have problems
positions,
with
you
them, I do. I
don't?
mean, if they're gonna come to work here and I know this person, absolutely, I know
Yeah.
we're gonna talk.
I would suggest to you that some of those were initiated by Mr. Simpson. Okay?
Fair point.
All right,
But I would like to know about on the other, because nobody thought that it was a problem. And nobody said, well, you know, maybe we should discuss this before the meeting. Did you do that with
I talked to
Steve?
both ahead of time.
Right. But you
Both.
were also on both committees, correct? For hiring?
I was,
Yes.
I was on the interview committees,
Right.
right,
So of course you would be talking to them.
not prior.
And you're also
Not
the
I
chair.
was at the interview, but not,
Right.
I wouldn't normally talk to people in advance.
On
You
that-
know what my point
It,
is.
it happens often, if there's a position that's coming open and somebody has somebody in mind for that position, they may call and say, hey, we got
You should
this.
apply.
Yeah, we got this opening, what do you
Right.
think about it? I don't have a problem with that, that's, you know, whatever.
That's different than coming to a consensus before a board meeting, though.
Yeah.
Exactly. But an individual discussion isn't a consensus. That's why we have two at the interview instead of three.
Right, but if the statute sets out in the Open Meetings Act that you're not to try to circumvent it by trying to have discussions about an agenda item before the meeting and discuss it and what you intend to vote during the meeting.
Wow.
And it sounds like from the discussion during this meeting, people already know how they're going to vote and have already discussed that as a board.
Well, I would think you'd know how to vote when you get here, and if you didn't, I'd say you're not doing your job. You better know how to vote when you show up.
Ma'am, I don't decide how I'm gonna vote till I sit down in this chair. And if somebody approaches me before the meeting, say that we recommend Robert, I'll take that under consideration. But my decision when I vote is done when I sit down in this chair.
Not before.
Do you understand that?
Again, the Open Meetings Act sets out how the discussion should be held and that it should happen at the meeting and not all of these separate little conversations over here and over there and coming to a consensus before the board meeting. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm just asking
Right.
questions and stating whether or not the intent of the Open Meetings Act is being abided.
I think you need to write your story however you think you need to write your story. And I think that our point is if I have a discussion with someone that we're considering hiring and I discuss with them, in advance, I would not consider that to be inappropriate. And I would do it tomorrow if I felt I needed to talk to someone in advance.
I agree with that.
And I would do it every time if I felt it was appropriate. As long as I'm doing it by myself with that person, I feel it's okay. I feel I'm doing my due diligence, so.
That's what I would call it.
Ma'am, this is your last time up here.
Oh, I can talk as much as I want and you know
No,
that.
you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, I can
Yes, I
control.
can.
These people right here suggest to me that I don't allow public
Well, my
comment
question
till at
then,
the end.
my question then, did you have these ex parte communications with other applicants when you were considering them for the job, or was it just Mr. Simpson?
That's what we just answered for.
No, no, you
heard that.
didn't answer it. Did you have a conversation with each person that you interviewed ex parte away from, like y'all did with Bob?
Of that same, for that same position you're talking about.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. In fact, I didn't initiate the one with Mr. Simpson.
So you
He
admit
did.
that you had all these conversations with Bob that you did not have with anybody else, and you made a decision on Bob before even considering what anybody else would have said about how they would have improved the positions.
I had one conversation with Mr. Simpson that he initiated.
Okay, and
That's what I
everybody
had.
else had one conversation that he initiated, and did you have any conversations with anybody else?
Only if they were initiated.
No, you mean of those people, the answer is no.
Wow, the transparency with this board is ridiculous.
Well, so, yeah, so that's certainly what I have done. I wouldn't feel it inappropriate to talk with others if I felt that I needed to discuss things with people to do what I consider my due diligence up front. And that depends on the position, it depends on the person, it depends on possibly multiple people that are gonna be interviewed. And it particularly makes a difference to me whether or not I'm on the interview committee or not. Because I'm gonna be able to ask questions at that point that if I'm not on the interview committee, then I don't have those chances unless I initiate a conversation. All right, so I believe we're to the point of we have a motion and a second to appoint Mr. Simpson to that position. And for the official starting date to be the 22nd. And then whatever other details will be ironed out at that time or subsequent to that time. Hearing no other discussion, we'll vote.
You have 3 yeses, 2 nos, nays being Meyer and Parsley.
All right, so the motion's carried. So Robert will be appointed to that position, it was just now, and effective the 22nd. But assuming that the process will be, started even sooner as far as give and take of information.
Congratulations, Robert, and prove me wrong. Okay,
All right.
I'll watch it, I'll keep watching.
So that's where we're at. Okay, we're gonna try and do something, Miss Jackie. I think your items are up next. We're gonna try and get through Jackie's item with,
Items.
yeah, items. We're gonna try and get through them. They're the first one on the bottom of the page, or the one at the very bottom, and then I think 3 or 4 on the next, or 3 on the next page. We're gonna do those, and then we're gonna take a break.
For Kelly's sake,
Yeah.
thank you.
All right, I'm here, to ask you to consider approval of changes of the Constitution and bylaws of Extension Board. So let me give you a little background. You should have one.
We do. Yeah. Okay.
So, Scotts Bluff and Morrow County have always been a joint board, primarily because the educators, like myself, have served both Scotts Bluff and Morrow County. Each county has a 4-H assistant. And so we had a joint board to help in that process. And Commissioner Blue's been a part of this discussion too. If you have questions, he can help respond. So over the year, this has been implemented. It was implemented a long time ago. It precedes me. When I came, I was the Scotts Bluff Morrow County educator. The structure has changed. My position now serves the Southern Panhandle. And then there's a similar position like mine that serves the Northern Panhandle. And all educators have that kind of appointment. So our 4-H educators have shifted as well too in the counties that they serve. So our Scotts Bluff County person serves Scotts Bluff, Kimball, and Banner counties. And then the person that's in Morrill and Garden also served Dual County. So it doesn't serve us to have a joint Scotts Bluff Morrill County board. We're breaking it apart, and it has been approved by our extension board to divide, and we have a Scotts Bluff County extension board. Does that make sense? So that's what, we have done, is separate ourselves. What we have changed in the Constitution, and Rob was here not long ago, Rob Irick, to get approval of the new Constitution because it hadn't been changed in a very long time. So what we added to this is the fact that this is just Scotts Bluff County and that we will meet at least quarterly. So those are the major changes for, and you know, what will constitute a quorum. But otherwise, that's what this is about, the bylaws. Do you have any questions?
That's all you included or changed? at this
Yeah.
point?
And the
That
fact
takes
that,
care of this Constitution?
and the
is that-
fact, right, and the fact that we will be a standalone board, Scotts Bluff County
Do you need a
Extension
resolution
Board.
on that?
I
Judge?
need
Approval.
yeah, I would need you to approve it and, approve the changes and then a signature.
I move to approve the Constitution for Scotts Bluff County and the bylaws for the Extension Board
To
for
include-
Scotts Bluff County.
Scotts Bluff
I'll
County.
second that.
And include the signature as well, right?
That's correct.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second to approve it along with, chairman signing it. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
You have 5 yeses.
All right, motion's carried.
Okay.
And, so I did just sign it, Jackie, when you're ready to pick it up.
Okay, so, the second piece is to, discuss and consider the approval of Sherry Preston to serve on the Morrow County, or, whoops, it says Scotts Bluff Morrow County, it should say Scotts Bluff County Extension Board. And,
So let's be sure we understand, this is the next agenda item on the back page. The top
it's on the
of
back page, top of the back page,
But
right?
it should no longer read Scotts Bluff Moral
It should say Scotts
County
Bluff.
Extension Board, just Scotts
That was
Bluff.
like a copy from last.
Yeah,
We'll
it's
just,
all
we'll
right.
just scratch the moral off of it then,
As
is
long
that
as it
correct?
isn't an issue with you, if you just scratch it off.
Okay,
Okay, so,
good catch, Matt.
okay, Sherry Preston, could have rotated off. But she can serve 2 consecutive years. She served 1, term, 3-year term, and we asked her to come back. And is coming back. She currently serves as the co-chair or vice chair of, our extension, board. Thomas Jenny, or Skip Jenny, is the current, chair as well. So hopefully with her staying on, she can rotate into that next, office. So, do you wanna vote on that one first?
Yeah, we need to vote on them separately.
I move to approve Sherry Preston to serve on the Scotts Bluff County Extension Board.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
Okay, so we want you to consider and approve Desiree Evelo.
They are separate items.
That's separate, that's a separate
It's a
one.
separate
Hang on,
item, yeah.
hang
I
on
got
one
ahead
second.
of you, you need to vote.
Yeah,
Okay.
she needs to tell us what the vote is.
We're
Sorry.
trying, dear.
No, that's my fault, sorry.
You have 5 yeses.
All right, motion's
Okay.
carried, so we'll go on to Desiree
That's just
Evelo.
I was being so patient before. All right, so Desiree Evelo, we are going to have 5 board members. And so we're going to we're requesting, to bring on Desiree Evelo. And if you see there down in that 1 to the 3rd paragraph is, some information about, Desiree Evelo. And we would like to have you, approve of her.
You leaving Morrow County on that one?
No more,
No.
Scotts Bluff County.
Just Scotts Bluff.
I would move for approval.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve Desiree Evelo to the Scotts Bluff County Extension Board. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
You have 5 yeses?
All right, motion's carried. We'll go to the next item. Discuss and consider approval of Becky Ulrich to serve on the 4-H Council.
Okay, every year, the 4-H Council, elects their officers. Becky has served in this capacity. This is her 3rd year in that capacity, so we automatically allow, someone to serve on our board from 4-H Council. And she is the chair,
That council is county level?
county,
Okay.
Scotts Bluff County, 4-H.
Any questions or discussion?
I move to approve Becky Ulrich to serve on the Scotts Bluff County 4-H Council.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
You have 5 yeses?
Motion's carried.
That's all I
Okay,
have for you.
I
May
think
I
that's
have
it. Thanks so much. We should have
have
done
that
you
one?
first.
Did you sign that first?
No,
I
we
did.
wouldn't have to move it up on the agenda. We don't do that here,
Yeah,
remember?
so
Okay, I'm going to listen.
we could've
Don't
sped
forget
it
me.
up, huh?
Thanks,
At what-
Jackie.
All right.
Just wait till it's all signed by everybody. There's one more. Okay? I have a note here that you'll give us copies. Okay.
All right, so that's it for that item, right?
Yes.
All right, so we're taking a 8-minute recess. Try and be back here at 6:25.
You need help? Sitting there so long? No, sitting there so long.
That's the dumbest time of the year to have a meeting. Just a week before Christmas. I never understood that.
I don't, I have a hard time.
I became
Yeah,
aware of it
same
too, just too late. I couldn't juggle everything and get there.
And to be honest, in my early years.
You ready,
up here,
Miss Kelly?
Yeah.
I
Okay.
went to those meetings. And
think
I
we're all-
got more out of the district meeting. than I did down
Okay, the meeting will come back to order. It's actually 6:26 by my watch. The next item on the agenda is to discuss and consider approval of a resolution of local emergency operation plan. That's the LEOP.
LEOP. That's how
update.
Rob says it anyway.
And, Rob, you're gonna present that to us.
Yes, good evening, everybody. I did send you, I think it was mid last week, the update that we put together on that. I'm not going to dig real far into it tonight because it is, I believe, 504 pages. I have the old one here.
I can tell you, I didn't read all 105
I thought it was 502, I must have.
or 5, however it was, no.
That's all I
Be
can.
honest-
There
I'll
were
be-
2
I'll be
pages in there
honest
that
with you.
did not have a lot of information on them. But I talked to Commissioner Parsley this morning. He asked me just to kind of put together a summary of what we did change in that plan. Very little of the actual plan did change. The one thing the state had us do is we'd move it over to a new template. We updated all the county information in that. We updated the city contact information in that. We're still working on the villages in that piece of the plan. We also updated the shelter list, the fleet maps, for the radios. We updated verbiage within the plan to the current NEMA requirements and recommendations. Updated the census numbers to the 2020 information. We added the community lifeline sections per the 2025 NEMA template. Completed the new ag task card per the NEMA requirements, and moved the ag task card to the back of NXG, and removing the holding area verbiage to coincide with the 2025 template. We also updated the ag disaster emergency plan and added language regarding 72-hour holding, 24-hour standstill per the 2025 template guidelines. And pieces of that are still in progress are the individual city and village, their individual plans. Given the timeline with the expiration of this plan, when we need to have a new one in place, The state said we're in good shape if, we get the county to adopt it, and then we can retroactively go to each city and village and get theirs updated. So that's gonna be, the first, second quarter next year is to get all the rest of city and villages, up to date on that. Another piece that is, in progress on that is just updating the current, or the county departments, their inventories in there, like, what Road and Bridge has, the Sheriff's Department, Region 22 as examples. That's really, just kind of in a nutshell, the update we did to that plan. So, if you guys have any questions, I'm all
You
ears.
mentioned the 24-hour standstill.
Yes, that
What
has
is
to,
that?
that has to do, with, livestock. In the event that an infectious disease or something
Oh,
popped
okay.
up, the state vet would trigger a 72-hour standstill, type stuff for further testing.
So animals couldn't be
Yes, so,
moved and
yeah, but and
spread
potentially,
whatever it
potentially
is.
spread a disease.
Sold, butchered, or whatever the case might be, they're in one place.
Yes, yeah, and the exemption to that most typically is if animals are in transit, they let those, like if they're on a cattle pod or whatever, they let them get to where they're going, just so you don't potentially contaminate somebody in the middle who's got nothing to do with it, so.
So, were the cities and villages then involved somewhat in helping redo this plan? Or is it your information first and then it goes to them?
Mostly our information first, and then we're gonna kinda go retroactively back to like Scotts Bluff, Gehring, Morrill, et cetera. And then once we get all of their plans, their, annexes within completed, then I will come back to you guys just for basically to do this again. The
Okay.
problem we have is we have fairly short timeline because this plan is a 2020, it has a 5-year lifespan. Here we are.
And this is,
We
the
spent,
resolution, and, so you need us to, adopt this resolution, and it looks like we all 5 sign it.
yes, sir, yep.
Okay,
Yeah, the state insists on the entire board sign.
okay. Any other discussion?
I would move to approve the amended Leo.
And I'd second that.
Alright, so I have a motion and a second to approve this resolution. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
Yeah, 5 yeses.
Motion's carried. Alright, so do you have the original one?
Thanks, Rob.
I know. So why don't we start it down there by Russ and then run it all the way, I don't care where I'm at.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you,
Sorry
guys.
you had to wait so long
not a
to get to your part.
Lickety split.
Thanks, Rob.
Okay, so we'll be moving on to the next item, which is discuss and consider changing the name of Scotts Bluff County Personnel Manual to Scotts Bluff County Personnel and County Procedures Manual.
I thought you said hand counting.
What you referring to?
He said and counting, and county, and I thought, I heard hand counting.
Well, that's not a good topic for you. Okay,
No,
all right.
don't let them vote on that.
What I put on here, okay, I think I've addressed this before, cause we brought forward several procedures directly linked to that APA audit we had in September. Took it to the Personnel Board Committee, who said, we don't really think this is the place for these procedures to be approved. The Personnel Board didn't. This doesn't affect an employee as much as they're more supervisor procedures. So, what I am proposing to you is to change the name of our personnel manual to Scotts Bluff County Personnel Manual and County Procedures. Is that what I said?
That ain't right. You have different than I thought.
What's that?
I think you have it different than that, don't you?
Did I say it
Didn't you?
wrong?
You had it a little nicer than that.
Scotts Bluff County Personnel Manual to Scotts Bluff County Personnel and County Procedures Manual.
Okay, that's.
Yeah, I
very
did say it just different.
perfect.
So, and along with that would be a small change to our preamble. What you're seeing here is like the end of the index section where it previously this section's been called the supervisor section, and now I'm proposing you rename it to the county procedures section. And then add a little blip down here, procedures that are 13,000 to 14,000, that's a portion of the personnel manual, I can pull a manual up if you wanna see it. Along with a description that goes as follows. County procedures are established to provide clear, consistent, and transparent direction for the effective administration of county government. As a public institution entrusted with serving residents, protecting resources, and upholding the law, the county must operate with integrity, accountability, and efficiency. The county procedures section of this manual outline expectations that govern daily operations, decision-making, and the delivery of public services across all county departments. Procedures will be approved and updated by the Board of Commissioners. So this section would not go to the Personnel Board, just to you.
But everything's gonna be in one.
Big book.
And
Cool.
would you say then, let's use for an example, the credit card part.
That'll-
So the credit card portion of this would be certainly in this part of it.
Mhm.
Would it also be in the personnel manual?
No, cause the personnel, I mean, you don't have access to, in most departments, with the exception of maybe detention center, employees don't handle the cards. It's the supervisors.
For the most part, but I'm a little
But still,
concerned that maybe
but you have-
it
you're
ought to
just-
be in both.
But I
well,
think
yeah,
we
does
do
it need
have-
to be? I mean, you're establishing procedures for the credit cards, and that'll be part of what we discussed tonight too, which will affect both sides. I mean, it's the supervisors who oversee the employees that might have a card,
But they need to know the game too.
and they have to sign off on a policy.
Alright, so let's be sure I guess I got sidetracked here to the extent that really this, agenda item is talking about changing the name of the manual.
Mhm.
That's all it's talking about.
Yes.
And then we'll talk about the details of some of that
All of-
in a minute.
All of her other items are separate.
Right.
And one of the way I think as you explained it, that there's portions of this that, well, all of that personnel manual has kind of exempted some of the, appointed, people, appointed and elected officials. And some of these policies need to include them, and that's what you're trying to do here. Okay.
Yeah.
They got
I think
questions in the back.
The reason it was redone, if I understand it right, is because elected officials didn't get that manual. Is that correct?
They
Oh.
aren't subject to the
Not-
terms of the manual.
Right, not subject to the terms, but they certainly are fully aware of it.
Because
Yeah.
I mean,
they
what's
use
in
it with their employees are under the manual, right?
Lisa,
Liz?
yeah, they'd let,
I would just like to say that I don't think we need to change the personnel manual at all. I would like to see a separate manual that just pertains to elected, appointed supervisors that has all of these procedures in it, because I didn't read this, Lisa, but if you're gonna stick this in the county personnel manual, there's nothing in there that says that this applies. Cause you have, at the front, it says it doesn't apply, and now you're saying, that it does. I think it should be separate.
Personnel by
I think
resolution.
it needs to be included.
I don't think it does.
well, we all agree it needs to apply to the other people.
I think it
The
needs to be
question here is
separate.
only, how do we do that
Correct.
the best way?
Correct.
And that's the only question, and,
Right.
So,
you were gonna make this basically a separate section in the back.
it's already there.
That
I'm
was
just
really
They called it the
technically not part of the personnel manual, but a separate section.
Well, there is a supervisor section now,
There
but
is.
it says that it doesn't apply at the beginning of the manual to elected, appointed, or supervisors. I
That's
believe.
where I was saying, okay. That's where, I didn't put the whole manual out there, we'd have to get it.
Right.
We'll have access to a copy of this, and there's probably more, and that's where I just was addressing what the procedures were about.
Okay. And I don't know that I have that section. The
Okay.
personnel board shall adopt proposed personnel regulations. Okay, let me put out, let's get the whole.
I think it's in the very beginning, like right after the,
Didn't I hear you just say that
Definitions.
you had to change that part if they approved that? What we're doing now?
I just was adding an excerpt, so this would be, here's the first page, Scotts Bluff
What did
County.
you say about the preamble?
That's what I was addressing, and we're discussing whether we should have a whole different manual.
Okay.
So, this is where I was just showing you, this is the supervisor section, and now call that county procedures. The preamble that we were just looking at,
I think
I
it's
would have,
down
and
on
then
the next one, right there.
the classified service, and this is a section that's okay, so maybe this would have to be, say, the personnel portion or something, but
Yeah.
employees that are part of the classified service.
Because all those people there listed are exempt from the personnel manual.
For the personnel manual, but are they exempt from the procedures portion? Cause
I think
we've had it
procedures should
together for
include everyone.
years.
That's in state statute.
This
what do you-
has
what do
been
you say
together
again?
for years.
In state statute,
Okay.
it says it defines classified service and who's exempt. And it lists all of those people under the, I can't think of I don't have the statute right in front of me.
The elected officials
But
section.
it's the statute that established the ability for counties to have a personnel board.
Okay.
Yeah, this is taken directly from that statute. Too bad they didn't put it in there, but like attorneys, deputy county attorneys, employees who are covered by the state personnel, members of the boards and commissions appointed by the county board. Anyway, this is the people that aren't governed by the personnel portion, but they could be governed by the procedures portion. So I think
That's why I'm not sure it should be commingled
So
together.
we need to split it out, and it's been together for many years this way.
Yeah, I mean, right now, the manual talks about in different sections who it applies to and who it doesn't. So I guess it would be a decision that the commissioners could make as to whether you wanna have just a separate procedural manual, or you wanna have one manual that has it all. But it just needs to be clearly delineated as to, I think, what Gene's saying is who it applies to.
And right now, that is separated out at the bottom.
Well,
Is it-
the classified service, for the
Yeah.
personnel part,
It says
they
that
could,
that doesn't apply to me.
but it's the supervisor. And so it's never applied to the supervisors, you're saying, even though we've had things about, I mean, it's not new.
They may have been in there, but legally,
Oh, that's what
the
you're
law,
going with,
the
I'm like,
state statute says it doesn't apply. That's why we didn't vote on it.
supervisor section, policy for expenditure of public funds for attendance at conference and trade. This policy governs the expenditure of public funds to reimburse or pay actual necessary expenses incurred by elected and appointed officials. So employees and volunteers of Scotts Bluff who attend education of Scotts Bluff County, who attend workshops, conferences, training, official functions, hearings, or meetings related to the official business of the county. This policy will apply to both requests for estimated expenses and for reimbursement for authorized. So anyway, that's where it says this expenses occurred by elected officials.
In your opinion, Gene, is that would include appointed officials also? Or
Well,
or
they
just
are-
elected?
They are exempted
The
in
appoint-
the
the
state
appointed-
statute.
the
But not in
appointed
this
officials.
section. That's how we've had it.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, the whole thing was brought about because of Scotts Bluff County, number one.
The whole thing.
The
whole
personnel board, Roger Green, that era.
Yeah.
That's
State
why
statute
this law
created.
exists.
So the history of the personnel board is that all the state statute comes from Scotts Bluff County. It
Yeah,
was
don't even get me
example of
started
counties
on the
too.
whole subject,
Yeah.
'cause-
Do you know that for a fact?
I do, yeah,
Yeah.
I do know that for a
So
fact.
No, I didn't,
legislated to have a.
Yes.
I didn't realize that
Yes.
he helped create this for the
Yes.
state.
Yes, Roger Green was
No, I didn't know that.
instrumental
Well,
in
I don't know
this.
that he helped create it for the state. I think the actions created it for the state. I'm not sure Roger actually did it, but.
Yeah,
Well,
but the legislation
There was,
was.
he
And maybe
testified,
I don't
he did
know.
all kinds of
Yeah.
lobbying of legislators to get this.
But
Right.
I I do know that he was the one who created the personnel director and all of that,
Yes.
which we didn't have before.
Yes.
And the personnel, policy manual is required for cities, how big? Like three of them,
not.
Grand Island,
It's not
Omaha.
required for every county.
No, I understand, but it is required for some of metropolitan size.
They have, the big three,
Right.
so to speak, have all kinds of rules
Right, and I
that
be-
apply to them that don't apply to the other.
And I believe it's required of them.
It is.
And then the way I understand it, when I talked to, John Cannon at NACO, was that Scotts Bluff is the only county that has this manual.
That would be correct.
That is correct. Has a personnel board,
Yep,
cause they all have manuals.
they're the only one.
We have,
Oh, yeah, everybody has a manual, everybody has policies and all that.
That would be.
But
you
a
are correct.
personnel policy board,
But
we are
the
the
I-
only county
Right,
of
but
our
the-
size or of that aren't required to have it.
But the idea of all of this came from our county.
And I think that whole thing
Come
was
from Roger
researched
Green.
by- just
That's what
remember
came
I
that.
think if you
believe that.
remember back,
We met with, Mr. Long,
Kyle.
Kyle Long,
Mhm.
and he had researched all of that.
Mhm.
Remember that, we had
Yeah.
a meeting in his office,
Yep, I do. And he,
and which gave us the option of no or yes, basically.
what's that?
It gave us the option to either have one or not have one.
Yeah, with a 75% majority vote, right? And the vote was 3-2 when we took it, which wasn't 75%.
I'm just saying, I guess my point being, Mark, since you and I are on the board, I'm wondering if we ought to take that supervisor section and what we're gonna be talking about and just take it out of the personnel manual, have the personnel manual focus on
Be as standalone.
day-to-day employees, have this separate, have supervisors, appointed, elected, sign off on it, that.
I will say that, this was brought forward by the APA. It was very important to us to get this information implemented, and we've already put it off 2 months. Go for it if you wanna do it that way.
I'm just saying that we can take it out of here and put it somewhere else, we could do that tonight.
That's not how it's proposed, is it?
That's not how it's proposed, and
So-
maybe Robert can deal with the next meeting. Would you, just
I'll-
table them all?
Why don't we put it where it is, and then we can adjust it
I
accordingly? You've
would
already
think you
made
could-
all the,
I
you made
think it's
all
a
the-
good suggestion.
all the legwork for it.
Right.
And it can be, a new one can be built later.
I agree.
And,
I'll make a motion, we install that.
So can we
Lisa
move
has it
forward with
ready.
what I have, or you can just not use that first thing, you don't need to change the policy, don't have to change the name, you're going in a different direction.
So what I'm understanding from Mr. Reisig is he's offered a motion to approve this as Lisa has presented it here.
As and where.
And, do we have a second to that?
Second it.
So, we have a motion and a second to that, and then with the thought process that
We could move it.
we can move it later
Move it
on,
later.
and especially if the personnel board, Jeannie, maybe they can have it on their next agenda.
Let 'em put
And
an
if
eye
they
on
would
it.
offer it as a, hey, we suggest to not, commingle the two, even, that to take it out, then we can address that as the commissioners at that time.
They can bring it back, yeah.
Alright, so we have a motion and a second to approve it as per Lisa's recommendation at this point. Any other discussion?
Is there anything else you wanna show us before I go any further on that, Lisa, or that was everything?
I mean,
Wow,
I've got
no.
4 more.
Oh, I know, but I mean on this section of it.
No, I just had that, and if you wanted
Okay.
to change verbiage
No
or
cards.
anything,
Just so you didn't have any other wording or
No.
changes, okay.
and I suppose that would have to go county, instead of supervisor section, call it county procedures on that other page too. I didn't bring that forward.
Alright,
Can I open the vote yet?
you bet.
Yeah, so I think the discussion's over, so, hearing none more, then we'll go ahead and vote.
You have 5 yeses.
Okay, so the motion's carried to do it as Lisa proposed, and then I think we ought to discuss it at a personnel policy meeting and see if they wanna give a recommendation to take it out. Then we can deal with it. either way, we're
Perfect.
gonna build it the same way, either way.
Yeah, yeah, no, it makes, it's makes sense, it's kinda concise and nice to have it all together, I think, for people too, but that's no big deal
All right.
to have it separate.
So the next item is discuss and consider Scotts Bluff County Purchase Card Policy 13,400.000.
Okay, purchase card policy. I believe we had a purchase card policy, but then Jason put together a different policy that I thought was very good as well. So, I will go ahead and read through it. Okay, pursuant to Nebraska Revenue Statutes 13-610, the Scotts Bluff County Board allows department heads and their authorized employees to use county purchasing cards. The purpose of this policy is to provide clear guidelines for the proper use of county-issued purchasing cards and to ensure that all expenditures are for official county business and that controls are in place to prevent misuse. Authorized use. County purchasing cards are to be used exclusively for official county business expenses, including travel, registration, supplies, and other approved purchases. Personnel expenditures are strictly prohibited, even if there is an intention to reimburse the county. Purchases should be made with the county purchasing card only when direct billing, purchase orders, or reimbursement are not feasible. Card issuance and administration. Cards are issued only to authorized employees by the county's management accountant, human resource director. Department heads are responsible for maintaining a list of employees with assigned cards and monitoring compliance. Each cardholder must sign a user agreement acknowledging the policy and personal responsibility for proper use. Spending controls and procedures. Limits are imposed on each card according to county policy and department need. Increases require authorization from the finance director or board. All charges made on the county purchasing card must be substantiated with an itemized invoice or receipt. Internet purchases shall be documented with a receipt printed at the time the order is placed for any purchase. Receipts must be obtained and provided for all purchases. Missing receipts may result in payroll deductions. Any points, rebates, or other benefits gained from using the county purchasing card belongs to the county and is subject to the county policy on ownership and use of rebates, rewards, and incentives. In the event that an invoice or receipt does not accompany such a purchase, purchasing card privileges shall be temporarily suspended and the matter shall be subject to a review or an investigation conducted by the county's management accountant, human resource director, or approved designee. Invoices, receipts should be forwarded to the office of the county clerk's office in prompt and timely manner to avoid late fees and ensure appropriate review. Purchases requiring competitive bids should use standard purchasing procedures rather than purchasing cards. Upon the termination or suspension of employment of an individual using a purchase card, such individual's purchasing card account shall be immediately closed and he or she shall return the purchasing card to the county. Prohibited uses. No personal purchases, cash advance, or use for non-county business is permitted. Cards may not be used by anyone except the individual to whom they are assigned. Documentation and reconciliation. Card holders must provide detailed receipts and submit statements for review each billing cycle. Department heads or designated supervisors must review and approve all transactions, ensuring compliance with policy. The county auditor or finance department retains all documentation in accordance with record retention rules. Card security. The county purchasing card shall always be treated with a level of care that will reasonably secure the card and the account number. The storage of the purchasing card will be the responsibility of the card holder. Those employees needing to use the card shall be required to sign a Scotts Bluff County cardholder agreement. It is recommended cards should be left at the county office when not in use. Sharing or use by someone other than the card holder. The only person entitled to use the Scotts Bluff County purchasing card is the person to whom it is authorized. The card shall not be lent to another person for use. County purchasing card shall be kept in an accessible but secure location in the event the card is lost or stolen. The card holder responsible for the card shall notify the county's management accountant, human resource director, and purchasing card company immediately. Violation, unauthorized use or policy violations may result in revocation of card privileges, disciplinary action up to and including termination, and possible criminal prosecution. That in a nutshell.
The one that says sharing or use, excuse me, one that says sharing by use other than the card holder, let's just say, and we'll use roads department, they need a part and whatever,
What
and
number is
Steve
it?
is the card holder,
It
which would
says
mean that Steve would have to go get a, is that right?
Well, in the prohibited uses, cards may be used by, may not be used by anyone except the individual to whom it was assigned. That's already been,
Right, but what I'm saying is that somebody in that department needs a part, then Steve, who is the card holder, has to go get that part rather than give the card to the employee to go pick up the part that they need for whatever they're working on.
Several of these department have ones that are called roads department or detention center, and that's the ones
But you only
that
have a person that is in charge of that card, correct?
typically, but I'm not saying 100%.
Okay.
They can use it to go get a part as long as they get the receipts
I
back.
can just see that becoming a problem on the larger departments of somebody wanting to go get something.
So if you
Would you?
had, people, I know the sheriff's office has gotta be that way, and, roads and maybe a couple others, but if you had a situation where, would you ever have a situation where you would have a card that gets used by multiple people, with one person responsible for it? So do you think this allows for that?
At one spot it does, and one spot it didn't.
Okay, because I can imagine that that's what happens with the
Did-
transportation department at the sheriff's office especially, that they possibly share a card, and that, like you said, with the roads department,
Yeah,
or
I
any
don't
other
know.
department as far as that goes, that, I mean, I know at my office, I give them to my employees sometime and say, go use this and go purchase such and such, but I'm responsible for it. I'm the one that checks what they got, I'm the one that confirms everything
and
when
they
they're done.
signed the purchase card agreement.
Right,
But
but, yeah, so the question is, how do we deal with that?
Okay, so I'll give you some examples of what happens. So, we have people, especially at the jail, that are going out of town all the time, and they need a purchase card. And so the jail has multiple cards that they give to people, and they leave. Well, sometimes, if they are sometimes they are transporting prisoners for us, and not for the jail. And our agreement with them is, if they're transporting prisoners for us, we give them one of our cards, and I think the cards just say Scotts Bluff County on it. But there have been times where our person that takes care of those cards, who's our office manager, is gone. Or somebody has to go someplace right now and they need a card. I've given them my card. And the checks and balances are there. There's never been, I mean, we're subject to audit. They come back, they know they gotta bring receipts, and they do. And so, you know, this would, I mean, it happens rarely, but it happens where somebody needs a credit card right now. And so, you know, if we've had to.
How do we
I
deal
just-
with that?
I mean, I think the only credit cards in my office issued to a name is me and Troy Brown. That's it. And then the office has several other cards because our deputies have to travel. They might go off to a training or something like that, but.
So those cards are issued to the office and not an individual?
Right.
sheriff's office.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think it just says Scotts Bluff County Sheriff's Office, that's
Gotcha.
mine, and, of course, it has my name on it, and it says Scotts Bluff County underneath.
Do you think we're okay to go ahead and approve this, and then you guys could, the elected officials and the department
Yeah,
heads
we're
could make some changes?
officials,
Yeah, but if you guys could bring us some changes in a month or so, and we'll adjust it accordingly to what really works the best.
This-
It happens really, really seldom.
Yeah, but if we could make some sort of if you could come up and tweak that, once you get a chance to really sit down and look at it and tweak it.
And this not being part of the personnel policy manual, we can make these changes fairly
Yeah,
quick.
we can do it right here.
I just wanted to let you guys know how things have worked in the
How-
past.
yeah.
All I would take is a bullet that says, in the event that a department card is issued, we put something in there to apply to that.
I think it could be done very simply.
Personnel in the assigned office are entitled to use this with permission. With ISIS.
I could hand off my credit card and send somebody to Dollar General to pick up a set of headphones for my express vote when we're trying to get ready for an election.
Right.
So that I don't have to stop what I'm doing and go do that.
Distribution outlet.
I see what you're saying. I mean,
Well, I can certainly see where it could happen.
Only when we don't have time.
The card shall not be lent to any other
Again, it
person
happens in my
or-
office. I do it
Yeah, yeah,
at least once every 2 months or so.
so we know what happens, and, you
To
know,
any
that's
other-
not, you know,
anyone.
I mean, if you know of any sort of wrongdoing that's happened that way, I just don't know. We've not had any wrongdoing. We went through the same audit that everybody else did, the state audit, and they asked us some questions, and that was it. We answered all the questions, we had receipts for everything.
In communications, whenever someone goes to training, because we're required so much training, we send a card that says communications training with that employee to pay for
But
the
it's not-
hotel room and
Yeah, but
and their
it's-
foods.
Doesn't have your name on it.
No,
That's
I
what-
have one that says communications, it doesn't have my name
But
on
that's
it
what
either.
they were talking about, is if it's issued to a person, you can't let anybody else use it.
Okay.
There have been times when I've let an employee use the card that's got my name on it, because they have to go, they need a card, and the office manager either isn't there or our cards are already out. That's what they're talking about.
Well, I think Russ said that we can adopt it the best way that you can have it here for us tonight, Lisa, and then
You guys
then if
can
there
adjust-
needs
you
to
guys
be a
can
few
fix it the way you
changes,
want
we
it.
can
Either
do it.
Take the name, your personal name off that card, so there's no personal names on them, then they fit everybody, they're,
But it almost never happens.
just number 'em. Go with the number, you know.
I changed a couple of things here on here that, it said each
Well, however you
user
come up-
must
whatever you
sign
come up
a,
with, I'm good. We'll work with you. We're here to work with you.
each user must sign a user agreement acknowledging the policy and personal responsibility for proper use. And took out that no one else can use it
Right.
if it's within the department.
Right. That, again, if someone's allowed to use it, you know you're still responsible
Oh,
for it.
absolutely.
Right.
And they know I know.
Right. Well, and as I tell them, when you get back here, I want a receipt and be sure you get my
No,
card
the only-
back right
The only
away.
people that are using my card are people that work for me.
And you know them a little bit.
Yeah.
Right, and you have some
I have a-
authority.
I have a little influence.
I would think,
Okay. So, are you ready for us to adopt whatever your slightly revised
Mhm.
version is?
I am, I kinda went over the couple parts there that I changed.
Okay. Does anyone have any concern about that change that she's talking about?
No.
we
Yeah,
just
it was
need
just-
something in force right now.
Right. No, I think that's good,
Each
cause I think
user
that's the
has-
way real life is around here and even in other people's offices or whatever. But that person that has it and or their supervisor is still responsible for it.
Yeah,
And
and such as,
whatever's on it.
like detention center has 6 cards that they deploy out. Department heads are responsible for maintaining a list of employees with the cards and monitoring compliance.
Right.
That's them, it's not me,
Right.
so.
So I agree with all that.
Authorize
right.
instead of employees.
I move to approve the Scotts Bluff County purchasing card policy as written by the management accountant.
I'll
Is there a
second
number
that.
on that?
I'll second that. 13,400.
Yeah, let's put that on there.
13,400.
I'll second that.
Alright, so we have a motion and a second to approve the 13,400 as revised by Miss Lisa.
Yes.
Minimal, revision considered,
Just, yeah, making it consistent
to
throughout.
allow another employee to use it.
I've read it before, but I didn't
Okay.
read it this week. I thought it was okay. Sorry about, yeah, I
Alright.
should have that ready to go.
So we have that motion and a second, any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
Ready for us?
Oh, yeah, I took away your voting screen, it's back there now.
You have 5 yeses.
Motion's carried.
So the
All right.
others shouldn't be as long as that one.
Yeah, we're going to the next one, discuss and consider US Bank One card purchase card procedures.
Promise.
How long have you known our board?
Stop. Okay, this one's already in place, we just tweaked it a bit. When you receive your card, these are just instructions to the card holder. Carefully read the county purchase card policy and county purchase card holder agreement, and the county purchase card policy is what we just revised. And purchase card holder agreement, we revised and approved about 6 weeks ago. Call the 800 number listed to activate your account and remember to sign the back of the card. 2, forward the signed agreement and a copy of the card to the management accountant office. If there is an incorrect charge on your monthly statement, first try to okay, anyway, I can sit here and read through all, this is already established. I can read through it all if you'd like me, or just, this is all I'm changing.
Just whatever changes you're making on it,
Okay.
that's fine.
And just kind of the directions to a card holder.
What?
Kinda. They are the directions, what?
Why is this different than just calling it a credit card?
A purchase card, because we have this big, each card does not have its own balance. It's all part of the group balance, it's called a purchase card account.
Right.
So
Like a charge
if you,
account?
what's it, you could charge it, it just appears like a credit card, but when it comes to reconciling, every person who holds a card, they're gonna get a statement at the end of the month and it says their balance is 0. On my side for reconciling, their balance isn't always 0 if they don't turn in a claim for everything. They gotta keep on top of their bills, it's just this was brought forward back in, this, like, 2008, 2009 gals, or do you know? When did you get your purchase cards? It was during Jerry Krabel.
Oh, it's been.
Yeah.
Is it,
I think it was brought to him from NACO, and this was what was county approved.
are they needed,
What's that?
these cards?
Yes.
Oh, good golly.
How come?
It's statutory, the purchase cards.
It's statutory, I mean, to
Why,
pay timely.
why would we have to use this if we can just use a credit card?
Well, it is credit card,
It is
they're all
credit
the
card,
same.
but
Well,
just,
that's
it's how
my
it's
point.
accounted for.
So I don't have a card for that's a little bit of control left with the county. that
There's a
we're watching 'em.
master account,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
And if we didn't
So-
see
It's
the
still a
statements,
credit charge.
if we
It's not a
didn't
debit charge.
I can tell you. County attorney has their own card. I had no clue what activity's happening on that card or how they're paying their bill. They turn in a receipt to the clerk's office every 3, 4, 5, 6 months. You have no clue what they're doing,
That
what
ain't
their
gonna work
balance
much for
is,
their-
and what their interest is. This, you at least have an idea what's, if things are getting paid, and we're not getting stuck with something. So I guess so,
The US bank cards are also, like Jason said, they're set up by state statute, so they're very regulated as to what we can and can't do with those cards.
So this is what the county attorney's gonna get a US.
So do you carry one of these personally
He's going
and a
to.
credit card?
It's the same, it is the credit
Good.
card.
It's the credit card.
So you don't need a credit card if you have this?
exactly, if you're gonna,
It's the same thing.
It's a US bank card,
Yeah.
but it's not, like Kelly said, it's not like a debit card. It is a credit card, so we pay it like a credit card every single month.
Right, and what about when
Do we
the
get,
credit cards that we just talked about?
that's the one.
It's the same things.
Same thing, it's not
They're
two
not
separate
two
things.
separate cards. We only have one card.
do they come with, you get an invoice on that?
But
too,
we have
then?
2 different
Get an
policies.
invoice?
No, it's called the,
No.
it's called the Scotts Bluff County Purchase Card Policy. And this is, you're looking at the purchase card procedures.
But we have,
Which is all one card.
Okay,
Correct.
Mark,
But it
but
has
if
a
I,
kind of
but
one
if I had a
account.
Platte
Yes.
Valley bank card, purchase card that I called it, I wouldn't have a different policy for those, would I? I don't understand it. Go ahead.
I called what I was issued a credit card until the audit, and Lisa let me know it's called a purchase card. It's just what the name of my credit card is. It's a purchase card.
Okay,
What's the concern?
I don't yet.
Well, I don't know that I have one,
As long
I'm
as
just
it
trying
has
to figure out, why do we have to, it almost seems like if we have a credit card from this company, then we have to have a whole new policy just because we have one from this company, and that seems weird to me.
I'm not gonna apply for a credit card with Platte Valley National Bank because I have the county issued purchase card from US Bank right
I
now.
don't think you need more than one, I think one's enough.
Well, yeah.
That's-
We all agree with that.
And that's all they do have. So it does get, I think sometimes people use the phrase credit card, but what they mean is
Purchase card.
So there really is only one card and it's called by statute a
Correct.
purchase card.
You can't get money with it, you can only purchase objects.
You can't go get money, and that we're not supposed to.
Right.
I suppose you could cash advance.
Alright.
I've never tried it or wanted to.
Makes no sense to me to
I've
have
never even done
two
that
separate
before.
policies, but.
But yet, why we don't issue credit cards? Told you that there is one out there. I just told you. I know there is. I've told Kevin Sylvester about it, and he's like, I look at that and I don't see a problem.
So what is
Robert can deal with that one.
I got a question. So are you gonna take
I
everybody's
need people
credit
to
cards
stop
that are
talking from the
away?
back of the room, please.
So
I don't-
this new system, are you going to take away all the credit cards that everybody's using right now and offer them these new ones?
We're making policy for what we have.
So what, okay,
They'll
so,
still use their same credit cards that they're using right now.
With a
And
different
purchase
policy.
which
different
they
policy.
call a purchase card.
Right.
And this
Since-
policy I thought was a credit card, but
Since
it's called a
September.
purchase card.
I've learned it's a purchase card since September.
And
Don't
I
make
think it
sense.
was brought to the county by NACO as an option because we have problems with timely payments when you can only pay 2 times a month, and some months you are 3 weeks before a check goes out, right? So,
So it's
this helps.
basically a purchase card that is managed by US Bank.
Yes, purchase
Period.
card.
The statement comes from US Bank. The check is cut to US Bank.
We can go through them all if you'd all like to see them.
Don't need to.
I brought the stack up once before and nobody looked at it.
Yes. Okay. Can we approve?
I would move for approval.
I'll second that.
We're on 1401 or 13401.
13,403.
yes.
403, yeah.
That was 401.
So we have a motion and
401.
a second to approve that, no other discussion. We'll go ahead and vote.
You have 5 yeses.
Motion's carried. All right, we're up to the discuss and consider Scotts Bluff policy on ownership and use of rebates, rewards, and incentives.
Okay. Like I said, Jason helped us
13,403.
put this one together. And this is a new policy.
You put this one together?
13403. The purpose is to ensure all rebate, rewards, points, and other incentives related to purchases made with Scotts Bluff County owned purchase cards or accounts are used solely for the benefit of the county and to prevent personal gain by county employees. Number 2, policy statement. All rebates, rewards, points, or financial incentive earned as a result of transactions conducted with county-issued cards or accounts are the exclusive property of the county. These benefits must be used only for purposes that benefit official county business and operations. 3, approve vendor accounts. Scottsbluff County Board of Commissioners shall determine the type of purchasing cards or vendor accounts that may be utilized by county employees on behalf of Scottsbluff County. Following approval of all such cards or accounts, an authorized list of all approved accounts and the cards for said accounts shall be maintained by the Scottsbluff County Management Accountant. Authorized uses of vendor accounts. The Scottsbluff County Management Accountant shall maintain a list of each employee who is authorized to use a purchasing card account on behalf of Scottsbluff County. Prohibitions. No officer, employee, or authorized cardholder may personally redeem, use, or direct the use of such rebates, rewards, or incentives for any county purpose.
Any non-county.
Non-county sorry. 6, accounting and use. All rebate, rewards, or incentives must be monitored, tracked, and credited to appropriate county accounts. Any monetary benefits received must be deposited with the county treasurer and reported in accordance with county and statutory 4E, accounting procedures. And enforcement violations of this policy, including personal use or misappropriation of rebate benefits, will result in disciplinary action up to and including termination, and may be referred to law enforcement or other authorities as appropriate. Questions?
I think it's probably the same with all the officials, I don't want to speak for them, but, in all my travels in my life, I've got Hilton Honors, I've got, cards with United, with American Airlines, all those different clubs and things that you get points when you travel. So are we saying that if I happen to go to a Hilton, I can't put my card on file to get points? That's a
You
very
mean
real scenario where people.
Points for you personally?
Right, it goes on because you have a personal
You get
account
points,
with
you get
Hilton,
points.
with,
But-
all the
but
different
you're-
hotels.
But you're doing it for county business.
Right,
correct?
I'm just wanna make sure I understand that we're wanting to go that far with this policy, cause I know typically, and again, the board can do whatever they want to. Typically, like airline points, which we don't have a lot of that, just because of the nature of what we do, but we do have hotel stays. Where
But I
people
think-
accumulate points.
I think during previous discussions a while back, that it would not be appropriate to use county funds to get something in return personally.
And I would agree with that. I think it's understood that Hilton has reward points. You use a, Scotts Bluff County P card, and then
Those points
my
should go
family
towards
and I
that.
go and use a Hilton, use those points toward a vacation or something. To me, that would be a violation of the P card policy that's been
Why don't-
established.
Yeah, I think you can solve that question by a quick call to the state auditor's office, and you'll know in a heartbeat.
Yeah, that would be a really
So,
good.
I just wanted clarification
Well,
because
it-
to
it's
put
good.
something like that in place, cause if we all have Hilton Honors accounts or, with all these different hotels and things and different, mileage points with United, American Airlines, those things, good luck tracking it. I mean, I don't care whether Lisa's a management accountant or I'm the management accountant, you'll never know.
And so with that, it's just a policy decision, in terms of, extra benefits like Robert's bringing up. So for example, the state of Nebraska, and I think it's probably because of twofold. One is the tracking, and the other would be as a benefit to employees. So when the state sends out people to stay in hotels, they're using a card, but, for example, they'll allow them to keep the hotel points. The state decided that the tracking would cost more than the benefit to the state, meaning if the state was to try to collect those particular points versus, like Menards, where we get a direct dollar for dollar benefit to the county. So there can be carve-outs for certain things, and the state will do that.
Right.
But you're still using county resources
You
to
are.
accumulate personal gain from
Yes.
it.
And that's that's the policy decision that
That's
would
where
need
the,
to-
that's where the problem's going to
Right,
come
I'm
in.
I'm not trying to convince you yes or no, but I think it's very important to know the level of difficulty to track that. And a lot of companies, and as Jason said, the state, they consider that a de minimis fringe benefit. And
Really?
That word is very, you know more about the state policy than I, but most companies consider that a de minimis fringe benefit.
We have not addressed reward points.
So, I'm not saying I'm in favor of
Right.
or
I
against,
think-
I'm just saying if we're gonna go that route,
I think
it's
we
gonna be
should just,
extremely difficult.
let's just check with the state. Heather,
The
did
only
you?
thing I was
Oop.
gonna say is that in most
It
cases,
is there. Did you add that?
when you go to a hotel, you should be direct billing that hotel and not paying for it with a credit
Ooh,
card.
good point.
Right.
At
But
least
the
with,
county's still paying for it.
The county's paying for it, but that should be a direct billing. That doesn't really necessarily tie to a credit card.
But do you receive, well, yeah, if you're not using a credit card, you're not gonna get any points on it, basically.
So can we just
Okay.
take points out of there?
No, I think it's fine in there.
Oh, okay.
I'm just throwing that in there.
Yeah.
We direct bill when we can, but we can't always direct direct bills you wanna set up. Because where we go, I mean, we're like all over the place. And just what he talked about, if we go and, I mean, if somebody's staying at a hotel and they wanna get those points on there, you know, you're gonna get a few hundred points and it's gonna cost you 15,000 points to spend a night anywhere. So it's just, the county's not gonna benefit from that. Could you have can Scotts Bluff County accumulate Hilton Honors Points? I don't know. Do you know, Robert?
What's that?
Can Scotts Bluff County accumulate Hilton Honors Points for any time you stay at a Hilton? It's not direct bill.
You'd have to set up a business account with each one of the hotel providers, airlines,
I think we need to do the auditor thing and figure it out.
I ask the auditor, and if they say it's fine, then
The
if,
auditor does what Jason said that they do. The state does on, I talked to a state employee recently, and the state doesn't care about hotel fees.
Okay.
okay, well, let's confirm that, and then we'll go
I
from
was
there.
gonna say, I'm Monia with the Star Herald. I just found a story from Charlie Jansen who says he says that, employees shouldn't be getting free things, and he does reference, his prior auditor to Mike Foley. He also believes the same policy should apply for frequent flyer miles and hotel points on trips paid by the state. And this was an audit that he had performed
Yeah, see, how long ago is that? How easily?
in 2017. So, and the Department of Administrative Services was being audited, and he discovered those things on
That they
there.
should or should not.
They should not
Should
be
not be
getting
getting the
hotel points and frequent flyer miles.
All right,
Well,
still can check.
yeah, let's
Still
check
not
with them, and,
bad.
because,
it's impossible to track.
yeah,
Okay.
and.
Do we need a motion on this one, Lisa?
Yes, we do.
Do we need to
I'll make a motion to accept it as presented.
I'll second it.
That's number 13.403.
403.
Yep.
Yep,
.000.
.000.
Alright, so we have a motion and a second. The, one question I think I had on here was, this talked about turning it into the,
Setting up
Did-
accounts.
to the what?
I'm assuming you're going with setting up vendor accounts, like with Menards.
Yeah, but then I thought there was a
Staples.
point where it said something about, like those rebate cards from Menards is the best example. Do those need to be turned into your office?
I'm gonna say,
They
I'm
need-
gonna say no, as long as they're being handled. Now, if you get an indiscretion,
Handled appropriately, and I
Yeah.
hope what that also means is that they should also be used at the earliest possible convenience as far as getting them used up.
I would like to state, when I see a Menards rebate, I put it in Lisa's mailbox. I don't care who it's to.
Okay,
That's what I've been doing.
really? Oh, wow.
okay.
Right
Yeah,
or
that's
wrong,
good.
it's
Then
what
we
I've been
know.
doing.
That's what, then we know
That you get
that
in
they
the
came
mail.
in. Yeah,
Okay,
that's not a bad thought.
alright,
Cause I've been seeing them used lately, through weekly bills, bi-weekly bills, and they're for county purposes, and they are using them, and that's, you know, we did know that there were some that needed to be used up.
right. What we hope is that they don't get to be 12 months old and things like, or older. Some of them
6
were
years.
12, 24, and someone also said there is no limit. They can't put a limit on those as far as time limits.
Yeah.
And so, but I think they should be used up within a reasonable amount of time, if at all possible. But, okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve this policy.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
Not seeing it. Okay.
You just gotta start raising your hand, Matt, that's all.
You have 5 yeses.
Motion's carried. All right, going to the next one, which I believe is discuss and consider expenditure of public funds 13,200.
Yeah, and these are already established. I was recommending a couple of changes, as this particular policy is based on state statute 13-2203. So I did recognize, or what I was suggesting was to take out the adopted by Scotts Bluff County Board of Commissioners in 1993, but we're following 13-2203.
You
Kind of a minor
who-
thing. What's that?
You might want to add what date that was updated, because if we, a lot of times we refer to a statute, but that same statute number can change within the verbiage of the statute
So just do like, as of
as of
December?
whatever date that the legislature made that change,
Oh.
is what I
Nope.
mean.
I'd say not us today.
Right, but I mean, you can look up that statute and add it to policy so that you know the last time, because then when you're reading through and it has the last time that got updated, there is a date behind it.
Okay, cause I'm seeing like 2019. Laws 29, LB 609 kind of
Let me
thing.
So,
Anyway, that's what I'm talking about. Probably that's what Jason had handed to me one, at one point.
Yeah, down here,
Yeah,
it tells you that change was made then, so,
if it's the current, most current.
yeah, and you said that this said something about 93,
Mm-hmm.
so see there, 93, and it's changed again in 18 and 19.
Wow, Kelly, you taught me something. That's pretty cool.
I'm pretty all right.
so, at the top it says per Nebraska statute, and then it goes into a list of things. Is that things that do not qualify?
Right. Non-alcoholic beverages provided to individuals.
Those are acceptable.
All of
I'm
those,
kind of thinking it says non-alcoholic beverages. It's like, wouldn't that be alcoholic
but,
beverages?
but all of this is saying you cannot expend public funds for these list of things.
But that's
right.
how the statute.
Okay,
That's how the statute, non-alcoholic beverages provided to individuals attending public meetings of the governing body and non-alcoholic beverages and meals.
Those are acceptable.
okay,
Okay.
they're not
I gotta make
acceptable.
They're not acceptable, they are.
I know that, so I'm like, wait a minute, how come this doesn't make sense
So
to
if you
me?
said, if you go to dinner and order a Coke, that's a non-alcoholic beverage.
That's acceptable, so
So maybe we should be saying, maybe that's,
Oh, well, okay, so I'm not understanding if this list is acceptable or
the
not
expenditure for
acceptable.
public, oh, here it is, okay. Cause how it goes, okay. Before, the expenditure for public funds for non-alcoholic beverages provided, oh gosh.
Those are acceptable.
Well,
Well,
I think
this,
you're right.
this
That's almost-
particular,
It doesn't make sense
this
how we have it.
particular statute says, in addition to other expenditures that are authorized by law, there are certain things that the commissioners can approve. And it
Did you
looks
say
like
can or can't?
Can.
Oh, so we
Okay.
can pay for
Right, we-
non-alcoholic
That's right.
beverages provided
right.
to, these aren't exclusions, these are what we can pay
These
for.
are things that you can do.
Acceptable.
Yes, non-alcoholic
Right.
beverages provided, I'm sorry,
If you look at
golly.
6, you can see that it says should not be. Is that part
Yeah.
of it too, or no?
Yeah, as long as I have it in the right. Should
It's-
not
I
be used
think
for
it's fine.
Yep, looks good to me.
non-alcohol, okay, and I'd added, okay, the maximum cost per person for a dinner authorized by this resolution shall be, it used to be 25, I bumped it to 35.
Yeah.
Statute would say $50 a person, which, you know, we just had our recognition dinner to say we could go up to 50, we'd probably do it if we could, that's a lot of money. Decorations and door prizes should be limited to less than $100. Annual recognition dinner may be held separately for employees of each department, or separately for volunteers, or separately for any governing body or committee, or any item in combination. Okay, the annual recognition dinner may be held separately for employees of each department, or separately for volunteers if they choose. If you didn't wanna have one big group one.
What about flowers for employees for funerals or things? I don't see, I thought that was how this kinda got started.
That's just one of the things, I don't think that's disallowed.
Didn't we get dinged on that on the audit?
We
The
did.
audit said that was,
We did.
yeah.
You can
We're
add
not
that.
supposed
Not
to do that?
acceptable, but
We're not supposed to do that then?
that's
It doesn't
correct.
say it's specific in the state.
I still like it, I don't care. But, rules
then you take a collection to pay for the flowers.
Yeah, normally what happens in companies is when you decide to do something for an employee, is retiring or dies or whatever, you just take a collection of the people in the department.
Can that be
and
included
purchase.
in this? That's, at least we should call it out, at least identify it.
Yeah, expenditure, okay. Let me see what my next section was about. Well, this is the part you get to approve. I don't see why you couldn't. But,
You can make it
And I-
7 public funds should not be used.
and I had put
7.
in there, public funds should not be used for department holiday decorations and, authorization.
Or you could add to it.
What,
Or you could add to it.
for that?
Could we put that, the
Funeral,
board would suggest that employees from that department could take a,
Oh, that's, okay.
pass the hat and,
Well, they can figure that out on their own.
Yeah, they can figure that out.
as long as, well, as long as we're not saying they can't.
What's that?
If we say we can, they can, that makes it a
Well,
little nicer.
if it's their money, they can do
Whatever
anything
they
they
want.
want.
Well, you'd sure like to think.
Right.
Well,
It was their money.
But it would
We're
sure be a
only
nice
talking about
suggestion,
county money.
Cause I
here.
don't think they like to do that very often, it's, be
Yeah.
nice if we suggested it maybe. Spend your money.
it ain't our business.
Anyway, that's, I can add something about flowers, then the
Well,
next part
flowers
is
for
like
bereavement.
guidelines
You're
for,
good.
No,
Let's
we're
just
good.
leave it.
okay. And I threw, I recommended these, you guys can take them out. Expenditure of public funds for plaques, certificates of achievements, or items of value awarded to elected or appointed officials, employees, or volunteers, including persons serving on local government boards or commissions. Guidelines are as follow, and I said, we put in there 5 years, $25, 10 years, $50, 15 to 20, 75, and 25 plus 100.
Whoa, you moved on,
Oh, gosh, that's 13. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. But don't I
Yeah,
have them together?
That's true, yeah.
you have them on the
That'd
same
be the
page,
next
but we
item.
don't have them on the same action item.
I'm
Right.
sorry, but we can vote on them all. I mean,
All right, well, we can go back. We need to vote on the first one, the 13,200.
think we're
Any
all getting
other
tired.
thoughts
don't
about
know
that
why.
or any other changes on that?
I'd move for approval.
I'll second it.
All right. So we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
Approval of 13,200.
Yeah, this is 13,200.
Consideration until I owe. You have 5 yeses.
Motion's carried. Next one, and I think the last one for Lisa. Discuss and consider expenditure of public funds, 13,300.
Per Nebraska, the same statute, 13-2203. Just establish some guidelines. If you want, if we think the departments just handle it on their own, that's fine. It's just throwing out some guidelines.
Well,
5
this-
years for
yeah,
25.
the statute says that you can, spend public funds on these items, but it has to be taken up at a public meeting and the guidelines set
Guidelines set.
and approved.
So you can?
You can, but but
As
it
long
has
as
to
we
be
have
done.
guidelines.
Right.
Right.
I'd move for approval.
I'll second.
Yeah, I
All
also
right,
had that
any other
sentence in there
discussion?
for the wellness-related activities can't exceed $100. We do a health fair once a year and give out small prizes to try to get people to encourage them to come. Sometimes you have to.
Yeah, put $100 for the whole event. All right. All right, let's go ahead and vote.
Well, we get, okay, now she's ready.
You have 5 yeses.
All right, motion's carried. All right, so we're going to the next item on the agenda,
What we've all been waiting for.
which I think is the last item, receive update of opening meetings with prayer and consider approval. This says Jason. Jason, do you wanna comment on any of this? I know you had sent a, I think, oh no, I'm thinking of a different subject that you had sent out an email on. On the,
I put it on there in case somebody needed to talk about it. I didn't
yeah, well,
ask
we do,
anybody.
we said that we were gonna try and make a, some kind of decision on it.
Can I throw one thing out there,
Sure.
though? I mean, I'm not opposed to it, but I don't like that I'm gonna have to be in charge of tracking who's going to and when, and what happens the day that the person's picked for this meeting and they aren't able to make it, rescheduling and all of that stuff.
Yeah,
So
I don't think that should even happen.
Doesn't
That's not your job. I don't.
thank you.
I think that if we approve prayer, it should come from this board or any elected officials out here that wanna do it. But, yeah, I don't think you wanna open it up to all kinds of things, because that prayer is meant to provide us some guidance. It's not for the county, it's not for the public, it's just for us to make wise decisions. And it's tradition, been the tradition for hundreds of years.
So, I was gonna, offer a motion, and this motion basically, would approve that we would, plan on having, a prayer or invocation for our meetings, but then this motion basically says, yes, we're in favor of this, if we vote for it, and that, the policy to figure out how we're gonna carry it out to be, figured out over the next 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, figuring out the exact policy of how it's gonna be done. And maybe a couple of us can work with Jason or something on that,
You two fellas
and to
would be
carry
the
it,
ones to do that.
have a process in place like that and present it to the commissioners at that point.
Russ has picked Mark and Mike to do that.
That's what he was just suggesting.
That was just a suggestion.
But let me just say this,
They'd be good at it.
I would move that, meetings of the Scotts Bluff County Board of Commissioners open with a voluntary prayer or invocation prior to undertaking formal business of the board. And then this is somewhat from the state statutes, prayers or invocations shall be directed to the board to inspire the commissioners in their deliberations and decisions while in service to the people of the county. Any prayer or invocation would be expected to last no more than 2 or 3 minutes and must avoid proselytizing or disparaging other beliefs or non-belief. And to ensure this policy is carried out in a non-coercive manner, a disclaimer shall precede each invocation, that this prayer or invocation is voluntary offering by a citizen or the board, whatever the policy ends up being. And views are expressed, are not reviewed or endorsed by the board, and no one is required to participate. And also that detailed procedures for ensuring fair application of this policy shall be developed and approved at a future meeting. And said procedures shall be completed and approved by the board before prayers or invocation are given at meetings of Scotts Bluff County Board or of Commissioners. So that's my motion, well, and then I'll comment after that, but that's my motion, and is there a second to that?
I'll second that motion.
Alright, so we have a motion and a second to the motion to basically, move to, have voluntary prayer, at the beginning of the meetings. So then we'll open it up for discussion.
Yes, I have some comments.
Go ahead, Ken.
First of all, I'm not against prayer. I've prayed all my life. I was raised in a Southern Baptist home where I did whatever I could to get out of it because it was a lot. So I'm not against it by any stretch of the imagination. But also I think it's a private action. I think it's something that's between you and whoever it is that you're getting your guidance from. I have no idea. I don't know where Jackie is at. I don't know whether or not you are, whatever it is. But what I don't wanna do is to implement something here because we can. Because we can, without taking into consideration. I think it's necessary. I think prayer is necessary. When I looked at the agenda, I sat right out here in the parking lot before I came in and asked for guidance. I do that a lot. But I'm asking for guidance from who I'm asking for. I'm not asking you to help me or anybody else. I'm all for having, and you can call it whatever you want, a time for silent prayer, a time for reflection, a time to ask for guidance. I do that a lot. And I can tell you from experience, I don't want anybody questioning my beliefs. But without prayer, I wouldn't have made it in the last 6 to 8 months on this board and everything that went on. Couldn't have done it. Absolutely couldn't have done it. Most things that I do in life, I can't do by myself. Absolutely cannot do by myself. So I'm not against prayer. I'm not against prayer at all. Not at all. But I think there's a time and place. And I'm not sure that making Jason or somebody else sit through whatever it is prayer that we're going to do and to pray whoever we want to because we can. I'm not sure that's correct. I'm not sure that's right. I know the state legislature does it every day, but they bring in a different pastor of a different belief. I think, Mark, you'd said your dad was even down there at one time. And that's whatever they want to do, that's fine. But I think this is our decision. And I've received a ton of people and good God-fearing people that where they pray as much as anybody else going, that's not the time and place. That's really not the time and place. If you want a moment of silence, do that. You want a moment of reflection, you want a moment of whatever it is that you want to do, that's great. And in your own way, you can ask for guidance. You can ask for help. You can you give thanks. There's nothing wrong with that. Whatever reason you're doing it. And but again, I please don't question. Don't ever question my my ability to pray or my ability to ask for help when needed, because I do it. I use it a lot. So
I had the opposite experience. I have had a lot of phone calls, a lot of texts, a lot of personal verbal exchanges in coffee shops. People very supportive and excited about the idea of us doing this. In fact, I did some research and I actually have a copy of the very first prayer to the United States House of our Continental Congress in 1774 when they were gathering to put together our country. They were mixed up of believers of several faiths and some that were deist and some that didn't believe in anything. And it was a complete turmoil. So somebody in the body decided we need some guidance here. So they went out to the local community and found a pastor, brought him in and asked him to pray over the body. And they did that, and things went very well that day. So each day while they were in session, they brought in a different pastor for the community to pray over them. This particular prayer, I'm not going to read it, was from a Reverend Jacob Duché from Philadelphia. And he did that prayer on September 7th, 1774 at 9 a.m. in the morning. So prayer has been a tradition in our country for a long time. Gearing City Council has prayer. Banner County Board of Commissioners have prayer for a long time, and I know other commissions do, other city councils do. I myself, I believe in prayer. And I believe in asking for a higher power to guide us in our thoughts and our decisions. That's a good thing. But I'm not going to push my values on you, and I certainly don't expect you to push your values on me. But I just feel that when we had a citizen approach us with this, I thought it was a great idea. And if it creates any division, it's probably division with your own heart. I mean, there's a lot of things people do and say out in our community that maybe I should be butthurt over, but I'm not. They're welcome to their opinion, they're welcome to their beliefs, and like I've told people before, I'm a chaplain. And in my bug-out bag, I carry numbers for imams in Denver, rabbis, you name it. I even got a Wicca person in there. So when I come across an individual that needs that kind of spiritual help in their faith, I know who to call. And so I do share that. So, like I said, I also looked at the KNEB website, And initially, there was a lot of negative responses towards prayer, but then I checked it the next day just out of curiosity. They had over 753 people in favor of it and 53 not. So I kind of come to the conclusion that the majority of our citizens like the idea we're seeking some guidance when we make decisions. So that's all I got to say.
I'd like to say something.
Come on up.
Hello, my name is Tom Flock. I'm from Morrill, Nebraska. My personal belief is that religion and government should be completely separate. I'm not an expert on constitutional law, and as I understand it, it would be legal for you to do this. While I was researching it, I found a letter from Thomas Jefferson that was, I think, the origin of the separation of church and state. It was a letter to a Baptist organization where he said that they believe that there needs to be a wall of separation, where the government will not interfere with religion, religion will not interfere with government. And I know that I'm also not an expert on the Bible, biblical law. I do believe there is something in there about being wary of praying in public, to not appear to be a hypocrite, so that people can see you pray, but rather pray in a closet at home, so that you're just between you and God, which Thomas Jefferson mentioned in that letter as well, is that the religion should be between the God and the man, and not brought into this public space. That all said, I just want to take you guys to have you put yourselves in the position. Imagine if you had an issue and you walk through that door and there's people on prayer rugs facing east. There's snake handlers dancing around, or there's people speaking in tongues. Would you feel comfortable? Would you feel as you were represented or welcome in that area? Or would you feel like an outsider, different? And that is why I feel that no matter the religion, it doesn't have a place in government proceedings. Thank you.
May I address your comments about the letter between Jefferson and the Anabaptists? Mr. Jefferson did tell them that the government is not going to tell you how to worship, but the government does welcome the influence of the church on the government. And so, just for clarification, Thomas Jefferson wanted the influence of the church on the government.
But in the same letter, said
And
clear
how
wall of
that is,
separation.
and how that goes about is the fact that we want those values of integrity, honesty, and responsibility.
I think that you're welcome to have those values outside of this room. And as he said in that same letter,
And
wall of separation.
And when you said we're to pray in private, that's true, but
I'll leave that between you.
but
That's between you and
but
your
he
God,
said
all right?
also,
I'm done.
you deny me once, and I will deny you.
You can tell the butts to St. Peter.
All right. Is there any other discussion tonight on this subject?
No, I think, we can have a prayer, we can have a moment of silence. I'm good with it all. I think it's all good. And I think if Matt chooses or I choose just to have a moment of silence instead of prayer, I think it can be honored as well as a prayer could be. And
And ask for
the whole
help.
country's built on, this country was built on religion. It wasn't just people came here to find a place to pray is why they left the countries that they left. But England was, dictating where they could pray, how they could pray. They left there for those reasons. Our grandparents, great-great-grandparents wouldn't be here if some religion hadn't been involved in this.
Well, and again, just to carry on what you're saying, Russ, you can, if you had a moment of silence, if you had a moment, you can call whatever you want. Silence of prayer, a moment of reflection, a moment of whatever.
Yeah.
If you pray to a rock, go ahead and use that rock.
I
don't care.
I just hope that's
I don't-
included in this, that we can do a moment of
don't-
silence
I
or a
don't
prayer,
care.
whichever we would choose as commissioners, however you'd like to. If you-
I don't want to push my beliefs onto anybody else. That's my point here. I'm not afraid of it. I am proud of how I believe, but I don't know that everybody else may feel the same way.
I agree.
I don't know. In 1960 probably would have been fine. In today's world, I'm not sure. That's my
this whole life is only a test, and we're just gonna test it.
I know that. I'm fully aware of that.
So I would only comment that, I've had, some comments both ways. I probably, associate with people that would probably be, in favor of the prayer. I would also say that, the unicameral certainly does it. And, I haven't heard of issues or problems with the way they conduct, their affairs. And I would say that we would maybe want to take a look at exactly how they use, their ability to open with a prayer. We know that the city of Gearing, we've heard anyway, that they open with prayer. And I think in this process of establishing policy, that we would be checking in with them. And then, did I not read, that since we talked about opening with prayer, didn't I read Kenny B was talking about now the airport board
I
is
was gonna bring
talking
that
about
up after
doing
this,
that?
when I was at that meeting,
Right.
and they brought that up.
So my understanding is the airport board is also considering the same thing. And from my standpoint, if it encourages others to do the same, then for me, that's a good thing.
I don't think we've ever had a presidential inauguration without prayer. I mean, there's a lot of things that happen with prayer.
Right.
And, if that's the worst thing that
That's what
can
I'm saying.
happen in
I'm
this room.
I'm absolutely not against prayer whatsoever,
I'm not either.
So-
whatsoever. I
But-
really not.
But there, we've certainly had other people that have spoke against it, and I recognize that. In the overwhelming majority that I've spoken to, it's been for it. But I understand that not everyone would agree with it. I understand, sometimes from some people's perspectives why. Sometimes I don't always understand it, but that's okay, I don't have to. But I certainly have a belief that, that it can be done appropriately. And that, again, this motion says that we would work on the policy to make it happen appropriately and well. And again, what that is to everybody is gonna be different, and I understand that it could be difficult. And with that policy making, I also agree that, I was not looking for that to have to be a Kelly thing. Even though sometimes that might seem to be the logical place to start looking, is at the clerk's office for the schedule of this meeting. I agree that I'm not in favor of creating that as a hardship for her. And so, I think that could be part of the policy.
Are we, I don't wanna interrupt you.
No, it's all right. Go ahead.
What did we vote on 2 weeks ago?
We voted on,
That Mr. Ocean would look into the.
Okay.
And-
Well, okay.
legalities.
and that it would come
Okay.
back to us. Right. And so, anyway, this motion specifically would be for, agreeing, that we would and could, have prayer, at the beginning of the meetings. And this motion would be saying that we'll establish those policies by meeting as a committee and then offering them to the board to be, approved.
So those would be, I guess, procedures. You're saying
Procedures,
the
I say
policy would
policy,
be to
but-
allow it, but then you need
Right.
Procedures,
procedures.
yeah, the appropriate word would be procedures.
I think I would prefer that we steer clear of it. To me, it violates that establishment clause. I believe that. And as Ken said, I consider myself religious. I try to pray on a daily basis. It's important to me. And but it's a private thing, and I don't think it has any business here. If we progressed with this, if we, there's a couple of invocations, I guess, that I would find acceptable. Something on the lines of, before we begin today's meeting, the board invites everyone present to join in a brief moment of silence. Let us take the time to pause from the demands of our day to collect our thoughts and to seek guidance and discernment as we consider matters before us today.
I have no problem, that's very good.
And that is a lot like a prayer.
It's a lot like a prayer, but it doesn't pinpoint
It's
any.
not pinpointing whatever Jackie's believing in or Robert or anybody else. We're doing what it is that obviously needs to happen. I'm not opposed to it. It needs to happen.
But I think that's
We
fine.
need some help here,
That's
folks.
very, very good.
I like that, Matt. I
I'd
really
like,
agree.
yeah.
Come on up, Steve.
My name's Steve Loveridge, and I'm the one who brought this up to begin with in the first place. I've been praying for you guys for quite some time, and not just you, but our communities and our state and our country and on our world. And I do that on a daily basis, and I've been doing it for 30, 40 years, on my knees. And the thing is, I go to the scriptures every day, and it says, you have not because you ask not. We need to ask for wisdom. He says, ask and ye shall receive. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and the door will be open. You've got to hit, in God we trust. If you believe in God, then go to him in prayer, asking for, it says, ask for wisdom, and I'll give it to you liberally. That's what this group needs. And many others. We need wisdom. We need his guidance and direction. And if you're going to just say, well, I'll just have a silent, well, you're not asking. If you're being silent, you're not asking.
But if we go with what Matt just said here, and asking people to take a moment, ask for guidance, ask for thanks, ask for whatever it is that your need is for at that particular moment. I think we're accomplishing exactly what you're saying.
It says there, in God we trust. If you
Absolutely.
trust in God and a higher being, then ask for wisdom from a higher being.
And that could be done.
Yeah. Not a silent prayer. I'm sorry. I don't agree with you. You have to go to the one who has all the answers.
And why couldn't you do that in a silent one, in a silent prayer, or a moment of silence?
You just moment of silence is not asking. The scripture says, ask and you shall receive.
I did, right here in the parking lot.
Well, I do it all the time.
Right here in the parking lot.
Yeah,
I
well, we
asked for
disagree.
wisdom. I asked for wisdom. I asked for help.
We're supposed to be praying for our officials. I do that. There's First Timothy, in First Timothy, it talks about that we're to pray for our officials. And
we
you
appreciate that.
guys should be praying for it as well. But that's your business.
In this decision right now, we could use some strength.
Yeah. Well, and I want to see you to succeed.
I do too.
And
Very
I
much-
want to
very
see
much
you
so.
have
We want the
wisdom.
county to succeed.
I'm not going to rely on my own wisdom and on what I think. I'm going to go to the one who has all wisdom and seek him, and I'm going to mention his name.
And I don't disagree with any of that.
Okay.
I really
well,
don't.
That's,
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to read the Establishment Clause. It's the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government to redress grievances. There is no separation of church and state. That's the biggest lie they've ever orchestrated on our society.
You're confusing the Establishment
Yeah.
Clause with the Free Exercise Clause. The first 10 words are the Establishment Clause. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. That's it. Or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, that's your right to exercise your religion, and I understand that.
And
But Mike,
evidently they
you're
thought that,
reading-
evidently back here, they thought like us.
Well, I know that we all have some strong feelings on this issue. And, I remember when Sherry Blaha, I'm quite certain was the one that brought to us this "In God We Trust" sign up here, which was right before I came on, and, there was a little bit of a concern at that point in time, but for the majority, they were okay with it, and it's also an approved thing to do and say according to, the Constitution apparently, and or the, Supreme Court. And so, that sign was made and established, and I think that this can be done. I don't know of complaints at the shouldn't say that. I don't know of significant issues at the unicameral. I don't know of significant issues at the city of Gearing. And, I think that, we can look to those, places as an example of how we could establish procedures. And so, I would ask, is there any other discussion before, we get ready to vote? So, I'll just remind everyone that my motion says that we would have prayer, prior, in the opening, part of the meeting, and that, we would, start working on procedures to make that happen, and then be brought back to the rest of the commissioners.
Are we gonna have it to where it's an option? I mean, we don't.
It's an
if
it'll be an option.
That's what, I mean, that motion needs to call that out. We can have prayer, or we, if nobody chooses to pray, we cannot pray.
We're certainly saying that they're not required to participate, or, right?
Okay, just so we're.
That says, that's what
The
this
only thing
motion
by
said.
doing that is, the suggestion I brought up about having a moment to do what you need to do, that could be whitewashed out during this committee, and when it comes back to this, we're gonna have a prayer. And this is what we're
I
gonna
think we'll
do.
wanna watch that real close.
Well, but how do we not do that? That's my concern.
We gotta keep it open, so it's, either.
I would be anticipating that, those procedures would be, we would look at what some of the other, entities are doing. We would come up with some, procedures to, do it in a fair and equitable way. And then that again would be brought back to the group.
Okay, in that discussion, would there be the suggestion of having that moment before we start?
It might be.
Could be, that's,
Well,
I
see,
guess,
it might be. That's what I'm saying, is
Well,
that, I don't wanna eliminate that.
If it's not brought in there and you want it, then
Yeah.
vote no. You're gonna have a chance to vote on it, and if you don't like what's in it, then
well,
vote
I
no.
think we can add, I mean, once you guys bring that, or whoever brings it, whoever's in that committee.
We can
whoever wants to
modify
be
it
on
that
committee.
night.
Okay, as long as
We
we have
can add
that,
it.
as long as we have that option, I'm okay with that.
Would you accept, a friendly amendment to your motion to read prayer, moment of silence, invocation?
No, but I think that's included in here. So the only difference there is the moment of silence, and we're saying, voluntarily,
Bottom
And-
line is you pray if you want, and if you don't wanna pray, you don't have
You
to
don't.
pray, that's the bottom line.
Right.
You'll be involved in that moment of silence.
I mean, there's nothing illegal about that.
But that, but I guess,
As long as that's, I don't have a problem as long as that's an option, and I like your idea, but I don't think it's gonna fly here, I don't know.
But
I don't know where we're gonna get that
his
amendment.
invocation, I think, was very,
I like what Matt
He
had
didn't-
here.
He didn't include anything.
I can't vote for it, Mark, as it's currently
I understand, and
written.
depending on how these procedures might come back, then we could talk about adding a potential, item to those procedures. And if it, was the, majority opinion, then that's okay, I'm all right with that.
Could I make it part of old business after today's vote?
No, it's gonna
Or
be
let
new
you bring it
business. It's
back
gonna
when
be
you're
new
ready?
business.
I see what you mean. No, she's saying we get through this today as new business, but then
Then
bring
add
it
it
back as old business.
Until we refine it.
Until we get it refined. That's okay with me, I mean,
Yeah, and
That
Or do I
technically
just,
is what
I
it
can wait
is.
for somebody to tell me to add it.
Well, you could do it like we've been doing it, just leave it on there till we get it dealt with.
And
I don't wanna keep leaving it as a action item.
Yeah,
And I don't know that I can vote the way that it is now. If we could be specific to say, yes, that can be an option, we'll talk about it, we'll come up, and we'll vote on the options that we have. I really like what Matt had written down here. That could be said at the time, before we have a moment of silence. Because it's almost a prayer in itself, really. You're asking for guidance. You're asking for wisdom.
It is a prayer.
It is, and I really like that.
You're going to a higher power.
So we're
when you
asking for
start
that, now we'll have a moment of silence, if you need that right now, now's the time to do it. I have no problem with it, but as long as that's an option with all of this, I don't know if I can vote for.
in my-
One of the main things we have, Ken, I think, is the option is we don't have to pray at all, or we can have a prayer, we can do an invocation, we can do I think a lot of things, and I think it needs refined until
Well,
this board's happy with it.
I would like to see that option included with that, we just haven't, I haven't heard it anyway. But I'm okay with that, if we
really
could
wouldn't have a
put that in
problem
there.
with
Well,
I
I-
think that option's there, because if a person doesn't wanna participate in the prayer, they can have their moment of silence.
If you,
That's not a big deal.
If you chose to.
Yeah,
that
it
night,
is a
Ken,
big deal.
No, it's
But if
not.
you chose,
Absolutely it is.
Either you're gonna have a
But-
prayer or you're not.
Ken, if you chose that night and you said, I would like to have the invocation or you could say, I would like just a moment of silence, we would all participate.
well, and again, we could go on for quite a while about what exactly the procedures would be. But I think, some of it needs to be ironed out through the, looking at how other organizations are dealing with it. And then I think that would be a, legitimate way to take a look at things and see if something that, will come back that will be acceptable.
If you will include that in your motion, I would vote for it.
I won't include the words, and/or moment of silence. I will
That's-
not include that.
That's my problem.
All right,
Okay.
that's
That's
all
my
right.
concern. And
All right,
that's-
you should vote no. So, any other discussion? All right, hearing none, we're going to vote. My motion is to have an opening prayer or invocation, and that we work on the procedures and bring them back to the board. So, we'll go ahead and vote.
You have 3 yeses, 2 nos, nays are Meyer and Parsley.
Okay, so the motion's carried, and, I'll figure out how we'll put together some people to work on the procedures, to look at it.
We're gonna be called the heathens up here. You know that, don't you? That's how it's
So
gonna
you'd be part of it, is what you're saying?
No, we'll just,
Okay,
we'll be,
that's what I thought that you would,
yeah,
so.
we'll be labeled here.
No?
That's all right.
All right, so we'll go on the agenda, we're up to old business. We're talking about time clock plus and payroll processes. Anything new there, Lisa?
Nothing new.
Okay.
We said we're starting at the beginning of the year, and I think
Robert
Robert's gonna go
would-
see part of the demonstration. Go ahead, Ken.
All right,
And I'm gonna be talking to Derek and John, Nick, when I get there.
oh.
I
down
still
there.
have to pack so I can get on the road to Kearney tomorrow, so
Ooh.
carry on.
All right, so we're moving to the next old business, USDA Wildlife Services Program. I don't have any new information.
Might have something at NACO on down there.
Right, and you're going, right?
You
gonna
guys
run
make
down.
sure that you talk about it while you're up there.
Try and bring it
If
up.
I can find the
Are
guy.
you going to the meeting?
Your commissioners,
commissioners.
your fellow commissioners, start talking about it while you're all together,
Okay,
for some ideas.
the next item is public comments. Board of Commissioners will receive public comments on items discussed at this meeting or suggestions for items of discussion at a future board meeting. The board will not take action on comments presented this date. Is there anyone here this evening under public comments? Alright, Seeing none, we'll go on. Board and staff reports. I think maybe we go over on this side to begin with.
Cindy.
Linda?
I do.
Come on up.
Waited a long time for this.
Yeah.
I just want to pass on that dispatcher supervisor Nancy Neal is retiring. I know everybody probably got your flyer today.
Got an
36
email.
and a half years.
Yeah.
And just wanted to invite you if you would like to come, have
that's-
cake.
And that's on Friday, the something?
It's this Friday.
Yeah, this
That's
Friday.
her last day.
Yeah, I won't, I'll be in Colorado, so I will
That's-
give her my best.
I will.
Where is that at?
It's in the basement
okay.
conference
In
room,
that, yeah, call
2:30
room.
to 4:30.
The media room
Media
The
room,
media room.
sorry.
I got you.
next door to Veterans Office.
Yes,
What time?
2:30 to 4:30.
Okay.
Thank you.
And you said cake.
Okay.
Sheriff?
Yeah.
None?
Nothing? Okay. Jason, do you have anything for us?
No, thank you.
Okay. Jackie, no. Robert or Lisa?
Come on, Robert.
I think enough has been said.
I've given Roberts, I took the NACO, what do you call it, agenda. I highlighted a bunch of stuff, so he's gonna be busy attending different things. Yeah, there's some good stuff happening at NACO this year anyway. But I wanted to report that we are moving along with our transition to APLOS healthcare, and it's been a wild ride this last 6 weeks, and we are encouraged with the support we're getting from the team that we're working with through AmeriLife and Alliant Insurance. You met Ian and his crew, which if you go to NACO, look for him, or maybe he'll look for you. Are you going? You guys
Yeah,
going?
I'm gonna go down.
Okay.
You know,
I showed him pictures of you, Robert, and
the foreman's meeting, the guys were talking about it, and the guys really seemed excited about it. And I hope it works as well as they're thinking it's going to.
I'll hope it, but just know if things happen, there is contingency plans, but I mean, this is a big change, a good change, and I think it needed to happen, cause there's a lot of things been happening this last 18 months with our local carrier, unfortunately, and
Didn't they
it's not
sell-
getting better, it's been a struggle, so.
Didn't RCI sell?
They, Regional West sold it to a company called CGS, so, but we still are associated with them until we get, through data service claims through December 31. They will still be processing theirs. We just hopefully are getting some better contracts and gonna be working with a different agency, cause I know there's some concerns out there, and if you hear of anything or somebody complains to any of you, please let me know. My dentist says that nobody's paying our bills, or nobody's paying his bills, let me know. So we'd heard that from a couple people, which is kinda odd. We wanna make sure we follow up and our people are getting taken care of, so. Anyway, I will be working, looks like, with Robert a little bit tomorrow and Friday and on into next week. And like I said, I did have a couple things come up that have taken a lot of my time this last few days, so if you're okay with it, I'm going to extend. I will work a little bit next week and probably until the end of the year, as much as I can. So, anyway, that's my update, thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Lisa.
You didn't have anything, Robert? Right. Kelly?
I'm gonna go to NACO. I have a board of directors meeting for the clerks, register of deeds, and election commissioners tomorrow night, so
Okay.
I have to leave probably fairly early.
While we're on your things, dates, as we look at, dates, we don't have any more commissioner meetings this month, right?
We don't?
Correct?
Okay,
Nothing scheduled.
right. And, then our next commissioner meeting would be January
Fifth,
5th.
Do you wanna
And then
get,
isn't the next one a holiday? Yeah.
so the next one after that would be January 20th. I do want you to know that we have a calendar for 2026 up here.
do you
Good,
wanna
I
meet,
just stuck one in mind.
do you wanna meet earlier on that fifth? to go through the appointments and committees? Cause you're not
we-
gonna have an opportunity between now and the first meeting.
Yeah, so.
We ought to do it this
We
month.
could do a, in the past, we've met to do what we would refer to as a workshop to discuss the committee assignments. And can we do the same thing, set a meeting for, do we think an hour would be enough for that meeting like we did today?
I think it would.
3:30?
Sure could.
3:30 on the fifth.
3:30 on the fifth, Ms. Kelly?
3:30 on the fifth.
Preference to set up a meeting, and you can, if you wanna do a separate meeting, we could do a workshop to discuss committee
I
assignments.
love the idea of having it the same day as your meeting already. Thank you.
Yeah, me too.
January
So-
5th workshop.
Committee
So-
appointment workshop.
Yeah, our meetings are January 5th and January 20th, which is a Tuesday.
Which,
are-
yeah, because the second,
Yeah, cause the 19th
well, the
is,
third Monday, the second meeting.
is that Martin Luther King Day? Is that what that is?
Monday is.
Or is that, yeah, the
that-
19th is? Alright,
January
so
workshop
anyway, I think those are our
Commissioner appointments.
critical dates.
You are also, isn't January your month for your detention center tour?
Yes, so you'll need to
You'll
set
need
it on
to,
one of those
um,
dates.
Our first meeting is your reorganizational meeting.
Uh-huh.
I mean, like, obviously, you're talking about getting your stuff, but your assignments to various boards and agencies, but, I feel like it's gonna fill up like today did,
Yeah.
just so you know.
why don't we just move it to the 20th? We just have to do it in January, right?
Do what? The
Jail
detention
tour.
center tour?
Right.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
I mean, and you need to arrange it with sheriff.
Right, I think one of them will be there. So Sheriff, we're talking the 20th to do our next jail tour.
I won't be here.
Detention center. You're
Does that
always
work?
open.
January or,
January,
oh. Okay, that'll work.
January 12th. We have to do it in
December,
January,
December's my anniversary, I said, I worked.
right?
It's a
so,
Tuesday,
Yeah,
after the next meeting, after the reorganizational.
okay. All right, thanks. Matt, I think you're next.
I don't have a lot, other than I really need to go to the bathroom. The, tourism strategy workshop, we had a tourism strategy workshop last week, and it, I think the vision that came out of that was really good, really worthwhile. We, got a second half of it that we're gonna do, I don't know when, I think January, I hope, but, so, that's all that I have.
Okay. Ken?
Oh, I don't have anything.
I have a Heartland Expressway Zoom meeting, this Thursday, but then I think that's it. Mike?
I had a transit meeting, last week, going to NACO tomorrow. I've been asked to be a guest at the University of Nebraska's, presentation to emergency managers. So other than that, just about it.
Okay. Russ?
Okay, I had a Capwin meeting Tuesday, was Tuesday before last, huh? Yeah. And airport board meeting last Wednesday. And they were really, wanting to work towards this prayer. You were there, you sat on that board before I did, Ken, and they never even addressed the flag, so they're gonna start pledging allegiance to the flag, and they wanna start with a prayer, and so they're working towards that. So I guess they'll see how this goes in to the end of this month, the next 30 days. And I guess they'll decide at that time but that's the direction they were working anyway. They asked Jerry to look into it, and I said, well, if he talks to Jason's already looked into it, so. Well,
Jerry
anyway, they were gonna do,
Ostick
Jerry
is
Ostick.
your attorney out there.
Yeah, so they were gonna ask Jerry to look into it, see if there's any
Like you.
complications.
I know I can't make it home.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think that's all
All right,
I have.
anything else? Legislation's on there, but I'm hoping whoever's going to NACO will have their ears peeled towards the
You're going down,
legislative
right?
things.
Yeah.
I thought you were.
Anything else? Meeting's adjourned. Are you guys gonna hit the potty?
Yes, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, thank you. No, I knew this meeting was tough.